What's up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Monday to you all. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning, whether you are listening on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, streaming it up online at our website, sportstalk1051.com. You got the video stream up and rolling on YouTube as well. The app, download it, take it on the go. Tell your Alexa, Google devices, multiple different ways for you to be chiming in this morning. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? It's going to be a fun week. If you're a football fan, NFL fan, maybe even starts off today. Legal tampering, quote-unquote legal tampering, begins today, but we have seen already a flurry of moves, reportedly. Nothing officially official yet until the new league year begins on Wednesday with some of them. But Packers getting already a head start on a couple of moves starting on Saturday. Reports out there saying that they have traded Colby Wooden to the Indianapolis Colts for a linebacker, Zaire Franklin. So Packers adding a linebacker who's under contract still for a couple of years, a former All-Pro in 2024, consistently a linebacker that has gotten over 100 tackles every single year. But the Packers adding Zaire Franklin in exchange for Colby Wooden. So, and you look at Zaire Franklin over the years too, dude has been healthy. Knock on wood, he stays that. But I mean, you're looking at since he was a rookie in 2018, 16 games, 16 games, 16 games, 17 games, 17 games, 16 games, 17 games, 17 games. Dude is always on the field. Team captain, apparently well respected within the locker room as well. So, but yeah, Packers deciding to make the move to bring him aboard, which probably means that Quay Walker is not going to be returning to the ball club. So there's that move. And then yesterday, Packers reportedly re-signing Sean Ryan. Offensive lineman Sean Ryan coming back to the Packers on a 3-year deal. About $33 million, a max of $39 million. And this is, according to reporters out there, this is with the intent that he is going to be the starting center for the Packers. So, with the deal, too, he does actually become one of the highest paid centers after just 9 career starts at the position. That's according to Tom Pelissero. So, Packers maybe locking that down. That I think that also, if there was any thoughts about Elton Jenkins potentially coming back, I think that's probably now out the window. The Packers also reportedly kind of altering Aaron Banks' contract to create more cap space this year, just kind of kicking the can down the road. So, and then there was the thing on Friday that Rashawn Gary had posted a goodbye to Packers fans on Instagram. Then it was deleted. Apparently hacked is the reasoning. So I don't know if that was the case or maybe a little conspiracy theory thing there where posted it up. Packers didn't want that because maybe they were working out a deal, a trade, or something like that. Delete. I don't know. There's a bunch of different theories being floated out there, but we should find at least in the next couple of days at max what's officially official with Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins going forward. So, but those are some of the moves already done by the Packers. Do you like those moves? Do you not? We posted that up as a Post Glass and Mirror 715 Speaks poll question on the Sports Talk Facebook page last night, and it ain't even close. 87% of you who voted says you like the moves. I would be curious to those who said no. What didn't you like about them, or what was the one that you didn't like? If there was just one, I'd be kind of curious about that. So you could hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line with a quick message and such, or hit us up on the YouTube chat. Plenty of football talk here this morning. as we get set for what could be a crazy, crazy, crazy day today and a crazy week here. So, speaking of crazy, it is March Madness, and the Badgers ending their regular season with another victory against a top 15 team, taking down Purdue on their court at Mackey Arena, 97-93, adding another signature win to the Badger basketball resume. So we have conference tournament week. Badgers will be in action on Thursday as the 5 seed in this thing. But going back to Saturday, I mean, what a performance all across the board. Boyd with 23 points. Blackwell with 25 points. Austin Rapp had 17. You had 4 of the 5 starters in double-figure scoring, and this was without Nolan Winter. Without Nolan Winter playing in the game. Badgers, now this isn't going to happen every single game, but a whopping 53% from 3 in Fuego. 53% from 3. 56% overall from the field. So just another big-time win for the Badgers. I know the latest bracketology, Joe Lenardi and such, still has them as a 6 seed, but I would think that's probably locked in right now as a 6 seed. I would be shocked if it would be a little bit lower. I know we can see what happens, and maybe there's I guess, if they lose their first game in the conference tournament, maybe they drop down a little bit lower. I don't know, but I feel like that's the floor. That's the floor for Wisconsin right now, is a 6 seed in the upcoming tournament. So, and then Marquette finished off their regular season with a very impressive victory, taking down 4th-ranked UConn. Now, Marquette, they're going to have to do some damage and probably even win their Big East Conference tournament here to get in to the dance. But nonetheless, a fantastic way to finish off the regular season by taking down one of the top teams in the country with UConn. So, conference tournaments, I know some of them already been going on and completed such, but here we are, and then Selection Sunday, less than a week away. Don't forget, you can pre-sign up, pre-register for our bracket challenge by going to sportstalk1051.com, clicking on the Fan Cave tab, and scrolling all the way down to the bottom and signing up. Speaking of hoops, Bucks, losing again last night to the Orlando Magic. No Giannis in that game. A lot of guys just kind of sitting out in that game and such, but they fall. They're falling. Yeah, just I don't know what else to say. They did beat the Jazz on Saturday, but yeah, 130-91 loss to the Magic. They got the Suns coming tomorrow. Then they got the Heat, the Hawks, the Pacers, the Cavs, Jazz, the Suns. So I don't even know what to make of this Bucks team right now. But nonetheless, we are into the final quarter of the regular season here for the Milwaukee Bucks. But we'll throw some hoops chat. Speaking of hoops too, we've got girls basketball. We know the team's going to state, so I know kind of in our immediate area. Congrats to Rice Lake, Neelsville, Oliva Strum, all advancing to the state tournament coming up this weekend. And congrats to all the teams that have advanced, and congrats to the teams, even if they fell just a bit short on some very successful seasons and such. So we'll do a local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center with our guy, Justice Cleveland, who will be joining us coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Also on the docket for us this morning, it is Monday morning, which means it is a VFW Post 305 best and worst of the weekend. So what was the best? What was the worst of the weekend? You can make your picks by hitting us up with a quick message. We'll do a little new segment we're going to do on Mondays called Glory Days. We'll explain that when we get to it, probably in the 8 o'clock hour. And then, I do want to talk some Brewers too. Kyle Harrison, guys, the dude that came over in a trade with Caleb Durbin and such, he's pushing. I would have to imagine pushing right now for a spot in that starting rotation. He has looked very impressive, I think, so far this spring training season. Yesterday, going 3 innings, getting the start. Did give up a couple hits, a home run, 1 earned run, but in 3 innings, 8 strikeouts. 8 strikeouts. And then Mizorowski came in and pitched 3 1/3. He gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run, solo shot, but 6 strikeouts too. But Kyle Harrison looking pretty darn good so far in just a couple games here in spring training and such. So we'll talk about him and kind of, we got to see Brandon Woodruff get a start, so maybe progressing. I know they keep saying opening day isn't the goal, but maybe progressing. Some positive news there surrounding Brandon Woodruff being ready for when maybe the season opens up. Maybe not necessarily opening day, but when the season opens up. So we'll talk some Brewers and such. Got World Baseball Classic going on. Bryce Farang, dude, had himself a nice debut for the World Baseball Classic too. So we'll talk plenty of baseball as well this morning. So that's your game plan. Let's get things rocking and rolling, shall we? We'll open it up, talk a little green and gold, kind of revisiting a busy weekend from the Packers, the latest rumors and rumblings and reports surrounding the Packers with legal tampering beginning and free agency opening up this week. Lots to dive into. Some of the moves that Green Bay has already made and some of the rumors that are surrounding the team on some other potential moves and such. We'll hit it all up coming up as we get things leading off after these quick words. Pain doesn't have to slow you down, and at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, their experienced team is focused on getting you back to doing what you love, whether that's competing on the field or staying active or simply moving without discomfort. From joint pain and sports injuries to advanced surgical and non-surgical treatments, they provide a personalized care designed around you. Local experts, advanced technologies, real results. If pain is holding you back, take the next step towards recovery. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better every single day. Got a quick message from our Hall of Famer, Mr. G-Man. DK, way to go, Wisconsin. They are the 5 seed, just like I said. And now Bucky, go and win the Big Ten tournament. Good to hear from G-Man this Monday morning. So, all right, let's get things going here, shall we? Let's talk a little football. NFL free agency going to be opening up later on this week. We got legal tampering starting today. I know everybody, how do I want to phrase this? The diehards or the people involved say it's not legal tampering. Okay, let's just have a little fun with this. All right, it is kind of legal tampering because we're gonna technically. Players can agree. I love, Schefter came out with a PSA that said players can agree to terms, but nothing's official. This is the day where we're going to see a lot of like these reports from these insiders saying so-and-so has agreed to terms with this team, and then they're going to tag the agents. So we know agents are the ones that are sending this to these NFL insiders and such. It kind of boosts up the agent's ego and such a little bit too. So, but we're going to have a plethora of those moves coming down the wire. Trades now can't become official until Wednesday when the new league year officially begins. And that's where we're going to lead off here because, we had a couple big trades. One, obviously, the Max Crosby trade. He gets traded to the Baltimore Ravens. So I guess, for Packers fans and Vikings fans, you're probably happy that he didn't get traded to the Chicago Bears, which if you're an odds maker, follower and such, that felt like the Bears had the best odds to acquire him. But he goes to the Ravens for a couple of first-round picks. So that was obviously the big one being reported out there. And, yeah, I mean, you look at that, that's I mean, if you're a Packers fan, you kind of probably get what Ravens fans are going through right now. They're pretty excited. They're pretty pumped to acquire a person like that to their defense and such. So, yeah, that's definitely a big-time earth-shattering move in the NFL world, NFL earth-shattering move. So, but with for Packers reportedly on Saturday also making a trade, sending defensive tackle Colby Wooden. It was pretty much, starter this year, was probably their best interior defensive run stopper. Wasn't the best in the league, wasn't, all Pro Bowl worthy, but given what they had on that team, probably their better run stopping defensive tackle. Packers shipping him to the Indianapolis Colts for linebacker Zaire Franklin. So this trade tells us a couple of things. One, Quay Walker's not coming back to Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay does not make this move unless, they pretty much know that Quay Walker is not coming back. Now, I get it. Nothing's officially official here, but I feel like that's probably not going to be the case here. So, Zaire Franklin, 2024, was a second-team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, healthy as all could be, knock on wood that it continues that way in his 8 years. I mean, he's either played 16 or 17 games every single year of his career for crying out loud. So, I mean, since 2022, he has had 167 tackles, 179 tackles, 173 tackles, 125 last year. And there's some thought Colts, little bit of a different style of defensive play last year that maybe didn't best suit him. He's more of a downhill attacking type of linebacker and such. So, but again, I think what this tells us is that Quay Walker is gone. And Franklin was a team captain. Those that follow the Colts and such say incredibly well respected within the locker room. I think you're bringing in a veteran presence. You're bringing in an experienced linebacker, and he's under contract here for the next couple of years. Quay Walker is probably going to get about, some reports saying about $15 million per year going forward. And when you got Franklin now, if you look at his contract last year, he signed a 3-year, little over $31 million deal. So his cap hit this year is $7 million. Next year is $9 million. But the key here is he doesn't have any more guaranteed money on his contract. So let's say after this year doesn't really work out, Packers can move on from him. And there would be a $0 dead cap hit. $0. You factor that into it, that's even more of an attraction, I think. I mean, there was reports in the last few days that the Colts were looking to move on from him, maybe trying to open up a little bit more space, or just maybe didn't fit as well in that style of defense that the Colts were now employing and such. But you look at, he's got a $0 dead cap hit going forward, and you look at what his cap hits are in the next couple of years. I like this move. I think it's a solid move. I think you're adding another veteran to this with Edgerrin Cooper and that linebacking group. And I think what it also tells us is we knew that Green Bay needed some upgrades and some depth at the defensive line, interior defensive line standpoint. And for anybody who wanted Green Bay to do that, this trading Colby Wooden for Franklin kind of reinforces that, or maybe even makes it more of a necessity. Like, you have to go and now get a defensive tackle. It probably moves it up on the priority list now. Whether it's in free agency, whether it's in the draft, probably even both. But I think moving on from Colby Wooden, who is an early down type of defensive lineman, if you wanted Green Bay to get better in that department, to get a run-stuffing defensive lineman, to pair up with Devontae Wyatt and such, this move probably solidifies that Green Bay is going to do that. Again, whether it's in a draft, whether it's in free agency, probably even both. It's going to happen now. So, because you look at the depth chart outside of Devontae Wyatt, there's like Carl Brooks, if we're talking about just interior defensive linemen and that. I mean, Stackhouse, and I think he kind of fell out of favor a little bit towards the end. But there's going to be moves now when it comes to that interior defensive line standpoint. So, Quay Walker has, and again, I know it's not official yet, we know what he brings to the table in terms of an athleticism standpoint and speed and sideline to sideline sort of thing. And I think Green Bay last year really wanted to keep him, but I think they were maybe looking for him to just be a little bit more consistent this past year. And maybe they didn't get to see that. And they just don't like the dollar value that's going to come with Quay Walker. So bringing in a veteran linebacker that has, again, knock on wood, stayed healthy throughout his entire career, and pairing him up with an Edgerrin Cooper, and you add him into a defense with Micah Parsons and all that sort of stuff. I like this move. I like the fact that he's a captain. I like the fact that he's a well-respected voice within the locker room and such. I like the move. I like this move because all you did was ship a player over there too. There was no draft picks involved in this. You're bringing him aboard, and it kind of like, okay, it fills a need here, and it really enforces that they have to get better at interior defensive line. So I like it for multiple reasons. And then Sunday, the news that the Packers have signed Sean Rhyan to a 3-year deal, about $33 million. Could be a max of 39. Now, we don't know the full extent of the contract. That's where I will kind of say just don't freak out too much because you got a lot of the reporters out there throwing this nugget to Sean Ryan's deal, that he becomes one of the highest paid centers in the league after just making 9 starts. So let me just throw caution to the wind here. Again, these are agents that are throwing these nuggets to these insiders. Okay? The agents are the ones doing this. And you darn well know that an agent wants it out there that they got their guy to be paid to be one of the highest paid centers in the league. They want that thrown out there. It's a little bit of a marketing thing, right? It's like, hey, we got Sean Ryan to be one of the highest paid centers in the entire league. So all these other players that maybe are looking for agents, like, wow, you got Sean Ryan to all that money? Maybe I need to sign on with you, and maybe I need you to be my free agent. Now, the full details of it haven't been completely released. He has a signing bonus of $11 million. Remember, it's the guaranteed money we want to be looking at here. Guaranteed money. Signing bonus is a guaranteed money. $11 million, that's doable. But I want to see the breakdowns of everything going forward. So don't get caught up. Don't get caught up on the headline that says that Sean Ryan is now one of the highest paid centers in the league. Well, 3 divided by 33 tells you an average salary of 11, potentially could make more than that. Yeah, if you do it average year. But we know, right? We all know this, just as a reminder. It's not that simple when it comes to contracts. It's not that simple. So based off of average per year, yeah, probably is one of the more higher paid centers in the league. But that don't matter when it comes to cap hits. Let's see the breakdowns of everything, okay? Let's see how it's all broken down first. So don't freak out and be like, what in the world is Green Bay doing making him one of the top paid centers when he's played 9 games there? Take a step back. I like this move. I was shocked that they actually did. I thought Sean Ryan might be out. I thought they were going to look for, maybe drafting a center and such. And I still think they probably draft a center, but maybe not a day 2, maybe a late day 3 type of pick. I still think, they protect themselves and go in the draft and get a center. But what I think, making a move like this, not only is Sean Ryan going to be your starting center, so there's going to be a little familiarity there too, but it does, kind of still fit into the Green Bay narrative of like, okay, got a little bit of flexibility. The guy has played guard as well. So, I mean, you got that flexibility built within it. When he was, I think a lot of us would agree, between him and Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan seemed to fit at that center position maybe a little bit more than Elton Jenkins at this point. So you bring a little continuity back to it. You bring a little bit more power back to it. If you kind of want a little bit more of a power bulldozer grading type of interior offensive lineman, a little bit more to help out in the, opening up holes for Josh Jacobs in the running game and that. But I think this also really kind of probably hammers home that Elton Jenkins is probably gone, especially when it was reported out there too that Aaron Banks' contract was altered, converted to clear up some cap space and such, just kicking the can down the road a little bit, right? So that's going to happen. You throw that at, we kind of know what week 1, knock on wood, there's no injuries, but we know what that starting offensive line unit now looks like. It's Jordan Morgan, it's Aaron Banks, it's Sean Ryan, it's Anthony Belton, and it's Zach Tom. And with those moves that now, again, you go into the draft and maybe free agency, it's like, okay, we have a little bit more flexibility now. We kind of know what the top 5 are. We're not going to be handcuffed. Now we can add some depth pieces. We have a little bit more flexibility in what we can do here. We've got those spots figured out. Now we can do this, we can do that. And when you look at how everything's kind of lined up now on the salary cap, according to SpotTrack, Jordan Love has the highest cap hit, which is no surprise. But if Green Bay wants to open up more cap space, their top two, or two at number 2 and at number 3 in terms of the highest cap hit is Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins. The two players that we all expect will probably not be on Green Bay's roster this year. So Green Bay has now put themselves, I think, in a decent position where if they were to move on, let's say they just release Rashawn Gary. They're at about $8.6 million available in cap space right now. This does not factor in the Sean Ryan contract. Release Rashawn Gary. You move it up by $10 million. So you're looking at $18.7 million available in cap space. You release Elton Jenkins. That moves you up to about $37.3.4 million available in cap space. And according to our friend Rob Domofsky, it's not a foregone conclusion either that Nate Hobbs is going to be on this team. And right now, if you take Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins off, he's got the 5th highest cap hit. So let's just say they release Nate Hobbs. How much of a dead cap hit is that going to be? It doesn't really move the needle a whole lot. So I think they've kind of put themselves in that position. If they want to release Nate Hobbs and move on from that, they can. I like the move so far that Green Bay has made to bring in Franklin, to re-sign Sean Ryan. Is he going to develop into a top 5 center in the league? I don't know. Let's see it play out, and let's see what the actual contract looks like. Don't pay attention to the $11 million per year. See the breakdown of it. You solidify that line. You bring a little continuity to it. And then you got some flexibility on what you can kind of go out there and do in terms of free agency and the draft next month. All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more football talk coming up after these quick words. When it comes to fresh, convenient, and delicious, Hy-Vee and Eau Claire has you covered. From farm fresh produce and premium meats to bakery favorites and ready-to-go meals, everything you need is under one roof. Are you planning some dinner tonight or maybe grabbing lunch on the run, stocking up for the week? Hy-Vee makes it simple. A store that feels like your neighborhood market, just a little bit bigger. Plus, with daily and weekly deals and seasonal specials, there's always something new to discover. Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, where there is a helpful smile in every aisle. So, again, today, just to kind of, this was from the from Adam Schefter and such. Players can today agree to terms on contracts starting at 11-hour time, noon Eastern, 11-hour time. So that's coming up here pretty darn quick. Deals cannot be officially signed until Wednesday at 3 o'clock our time. Now, it has happened before. Players reportedly agreed to a deal and such, and then they've had a change of heart and go elsewhere. Remember, like was it DeMarco Murray, I think, situated, or was it Frank Gore? Might have been Frank Gore. One of those two. It was like a running back situation. I think he initially agreed with Philadelphia and then didn't. So backed out of it and such. So, but nonetheless, starting at around 11 o'clock today, it's probably going to be a flurry of moves all across the board. Will Green Bay get involved in it? You know, when you look at maybe potential defensive tackles now, let's kind of maybe focus on that. Defensive tackles out there, because I don't think, could be wrong, but I don't think you're going to see Green Bay really trade any of their picks this year. I mean, they don't have a first rounder. We know this. So I think that might be more gold for Green Bay, where they don't want to trade a day 2 pick, like a round 2 or a round 3 pick. So if they maybe look at some defensive tackles on the open market here, who are some of the options potentially now to kind of fill in for that? I'm actually going to start from the bottom. I'm using Greg Rosenthal's top 101 list as just kind of the go-to list. If we're looking at interior defensive linemen, I mean, you got a Tonga from the Patriots, veteran, aged 30. You can go to, I keep saying it, Calais Campbell. Throw him on there. You can do maybe a DJ Reader, who we've mentioned a few times as well. Looking at maybe a Sheldon Rankins. Guys like that. Do they bring in a veteran on a 1-year, 2-year type of deal, which I wouldn't be opposed to. I honestly would not be opposed to. I think your window is right now, the next couple of years. You bring in a veteran like that. You bring in a veteran on a 1-year, 2-year deal, and you go into the draft, and then, all right, hey, maybe we find that next younger guy that will eventually replace that veteran. I just look at it from, interior defensive lineman standpoint. I wouldn't mind if they go out there and just get that run-stuffing nose tackle type of guy, like a DJ Reader, potentially. We've got to stop the run this year. It has to happen. Bring in that big, massive guy to clog up some of those holes and make things difficult on opposing offensive linemen to open up running lanes for their running backs. I want to see a better run-stopping defense this year. So I wouldn't be opposed to going out there and getting that veteran 2-down lineman coming in on the early downs and trying to stop the running game. Now, if Green Bay does, in fact, move on from Nate Hobbs after just 1 year, I think, again, that would probably tell us a couple things. One, they really were not impressed with Nate Hobbs last year. they're admitting that, yep, we got that wrong. The injuries and all that aspects and such. That, yep, no. Because even if like he played well in his limited games, let's say was still banged up and he still played well, I think Green Bay brings him back. But if they do, in fact, move on from him, I don't think it's more so about the injuries. I think it's more so that they were just not impressed with the play. And I think they look at it from a standpoint of like, okay, we've got like a Javon Bullard who can, really lock down that nickel slots area. And if they do move on from a Nate Hobbs in the next day, couple days, whatever it may be, and maybe they hold on to Nate Hobbs and see if they've got, if they have any luck in bringing in another veteran corner free agent or something like that. But if they do that, then I think, I would imagine that maybe they got a backup plan, that they've got a good idea, or they've already agreed with another free agent corner and such, or they just want to move on from that and like, hey, we'll go in the draft and try to find somebody out there. But then you kind of look at it, it's like Keyshawn and Carrington Valentine, they're nearing the end of their deals too. They need some long-term fixtures. They need some long-term stability at that corner position. And that's going to come through the draft, I feel. But that's going to be, I think, in these next couple days now. The thing I'm outside of potential signings and such, when are they going to announce the Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins moves? And is Nate Hobbs a part of that too? Probably to no big surprise either. One of the rumors over the weekend was, Romeo Doubs is probably good as gone. Packers had chats and such. But, I mean, I think it was mostly all going to be dependent on the dollar value. If they felt like they were going to get a bargain with Romeo Doubs for whatever reason, why not shoot your shot, see what that number is going to be. But, I mean, I don't think it's a big surprise. And I know there was a rumor over the weekend, too, that teams had inquired with Green Bay about potentially trading for Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed. And if I guess Green Bay was going to explore those possibilities of trading those guys, then, you bring back a Romeo Doubs, I think. But I don't want to see them trade Jaden Reed. No, thank you. Don't do that. No, sir. I'd rather go with our top three receivers of a Watson, of a Matthew Golden, and a Jaden Reed, and you throw in Tucker Kraft into that too. I think for me, one of the more interesting things to watch in this free agency is how does Green Bay look at the tight end position? You got Tucker Kraft coming back, and he's your guy. He's your number one guy. But did they see enough from Luke Musgrave last year to say, hey, we're comfortable with him being the backup? Or do they want to bring in a veteran? Do they want to bring in somebody else to be that primary backup? Or again, is that going to be something that maybe they address in the draft? I know David Njoku's name's out there. Darren Waller, if you want to bring in another veteran. I don't know if those would be, I feel like they could probably get better deals elsewhere, but who knows? So Dallas Goedert's out there, but he's not a great blocking tight end. Heck, maybe they kick the tires again on Mercedes Lewis. Who the heck knows at this point? But I'd be kind of curious how they view that, how they view that backup tight end position. I was looking at, again, Greg's list. He's got Charlie Kolar from the Ravens on here. Difference-making, run-blocking tight ends are hard to find. Kolar also seems like he could catch more passes if asked after being buried behind two good players in Baltimore. Maybe. We know Green Bay wants their tight ends to be run blockers. But again, how much are you going to invest in what would be a backup or tight end number two? So, all right. We got to take a final break as we wrap up the first hour. We'll be right back after these few words. Hunting season will be here before you know it, especially turkey season. Hey, those tags, extra tags, go on sale next week, by the way. A little FYI action for you. And that preparation starts right now. At Tilden Gun, they know serious hunters don't wait until opening day to get ready. Whether you are gearing up for the upcoming spring turkey season or planning ahead for fall, now is the time to make sure that your equipment is dialed in. From shotguns and rifles to optics, ammunition, and must-have accessories, Tilden Gun has a selection and expertise to help you step into the woods with confidence. Maybe it's time to upgrade your setup. Maybe it's time to sight in that new optic, or maybe it's just stocking up so you're not scrambling later. Turkey season demands precision, patience, preparation. So stop on in to Tilden Gun and talk with people who understand the hunt because they live it too. Tilden Gun, get ready now so you're ready when it matters the most. All right, just a few minutes left until the top of the hour. So to kick off the next hour, we'll talk a little hoops. Badger basketball with a big-time win. Big-time win on Saturday, taking down Purdue. What does latest bracketology tell us where the Badgers are at heading into the conference tournament? We'll go through a few of those. Also, we'll get to some baseball talk. We got to talk a little bit about the newcomer, Kyle Harrison, and what we've seen so far from him in spring training because, man, the dude has got some filthy stuff if you haven't been following along. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The Brewers, by the way, if you're kind of wondering when their next game is going to be, they will be on the radio today at 3 o'clock when they take on the Dodgers, and this will be the last game on the radio until Friday. So there's a few, no game on the radio Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a little FYI. So, but we'll talk some Brewers coming up here as well. Don't forget, it is a VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. What was the best and what was the worst from a sports perspective, sports world, for you in your opinion from this past weekend. So you can make your picks by hitting us up with a quick message on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the YouTube chat. So maybe a lot of you are going to be picking that Badger basketball win. Maybe if you're a Marquette fan, you're going to pick the Marquette win over UConn, maybe a little bit more locally. Maybe you're Rice Lake girls basketball fan, Oliva Strom, Neelsville. You're like, yep, best, they're going to state. Hey, solid picks. Maybe some of them are for some of the moves that the Packers made over the weekend as well. So whatever you got, hey, send those puppies on over. All right. So we'll get to those throughout the morning. Don't forget, we'll catch up with our buddy Justice Cleveland, sports director from Sports Scene 13, WEAU 13 News, in the 9 o'clock hour. So we'll hit that up and chat with him coming up in a couple of hours from now. So continue to send me your thoughts. Do you like the moves that Green Bay did over the weekends? If you're like a lot of people who voted on our post-class Amir 715 Speaks poll question, it's not even close. Last I looked, 87% of you said you did. Tell me why you did or why you don't, for the few who said no, you don't. All right. First quarter is in the books. 1 hour in. We've got 3 more to go. We got some news updates, and we'll kick off the second quarter coming up after these quick words. Second hour, kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning, March 9th. Thanks for hanging out with us here this morning, depending on where you're listening to us from. We appreciate it. I should say depending on where. We appreciate wherever you're listening to us from. Whether it's on those radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available to stream online at sportstalk1051.com. Multiple different ways for you to hit us up here. So, what do we have on the docket for this second hour? We're going to talk some Brewers baseball here. I want to talk a little bit about Kyle Harrison and just what we have seen so far from him in this spring training. Dude looks legit. I'm just saying that. So, I want to talk a little hoops coming up here in just a skosh as well. So as we are now in conference tournament week for the Badgers and the Big Ten, Selection Sunday, less than a week away. So if you want to be a part of our bracket challenge, don't forget to head to our website, sportstalk1051.com. Click on that Fan Cave tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see where you can sign up right now. Obviously, you can't make picks until after Selection Sunday, but that way you can do a little pre-register. It is also a VFW Post 305, best and worst in the weekend, so give me your picks. What was the best? What was the worst from the weekend? So send those on over. All right, send those on over. Text them to me, 715-830-1912, or hit us up on the YouTube video chat. We've got Surveyor chiming in saying, good morning, DK. Man, I got to tell you, this year the tournament is already going insane. We have the Big Sky Conference Tournament playing in Idaho and calling it Starch Madness. We already have a Cinderella story as a 10-seed Georgia Southern has run the gauntlet through the greatest conference tournament, the Sun Belt, and had knew it tonight's championship game. 5 games in 5 days, now playing their 6th tonight. You got to love this time of year. C-Bomb says, absolutely love the moves in terms of the Packers. Franklin has been a cornerstone of my IDP fantasy league. I've nabbed him just about every year. The dude is a tackling machine, brings us a good veteran presence and leadership in the locker room, and will allow Edrin Cooper to go wild. If you want to give us your input, your analysis on the moves from the Packers, let me know. All right, you can text them on over. 87% of you on our 715 Speaks Post-Glass and Mirror poll question say you like the moves. Be curious to the few who said no, why you don't like the moves that Green Bay has reportedly made this weekend. So let's kick off the second hour. And if anything does happen in the next few hours here, football-wise, Packers-wise, with legal tampering set to begin here soon, we'll definitely keep you posted and such. And we got more football talk coming up on the docket as well. So, but basketball-wise, as we are, March is here, March Madness, 6 days away from Selection Sunday. Already late next week, we're less than 2 weeks away from tournament games and such. But Badgers ending their regular season on a fantastic note, absolutely fantastic note, taking down Purdue without Nolan Winter, too. On the road, Mackey Arena, taking down Purdue. Now, they shot lights out from 3. I mean, over 50% from 3. That's not going to happen every single game. We know that. But the fact that they added another big-time win, and they have gone up against, and their wins, I mean, Michigan State, Illinois, Purdue, 3 of the 4 on the road, too. I mean, come on now. Those are some impressive as all get-out wins for this Badger basketball team. And when you look at some of the bracketology that's out there, I'm looking at right now, I've got CBS Sports' bracketology. They still got Wisconsin as a 6 seed, where if they were to win, they would, according to this, they'd be in the Midwest. And this is, I mean, you're looking at Michigan as the 1, UConn as the 2, Iowa State as the 3, Vandy as the 4, Louisville as the 5, Wisconsin would be the 6, Georgia 7, then Iowa coming in at 8. Potentially would see Michigan and Iowa in the second-round matchup. I don't know if that would actually happen. I don't know if the committee would do that, but who the heck knows when it comes to the committee at this point? I don't know. I don't know. So, then they've got, let me see if I got on three's bracket. So on three still has Wisconsin as a 6. They would be taking on Miami of Ohio. Oh, boy. There you go. An undefeated Miami of Ohio. I don't know who would feel worse about that one. Would it be Wisconsin or Miami of Ohio? But they also have, if potentially playing against Iowa State in the round of 32. Joe Lunardi's bracketology. He has Wisconsin. It still has a 6. I'm scrolling because they're doing constant updates with it. Yeah, he still has Wisconsin as a 6. And he's got the same, too, potentially playing Iowa State in the round of 32. So it seems like, I feel like, regardless of what happens, I feel like the floor is a 6 seed for Wisconsin, even regardless of what happens in the conference tournament. Could they get a little bit higher? I think they can be. Now, they're the 5 seed in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. And they're not going to be back in action until Thursday. So, I mean, you know, they're getting a few buys here. Right now, the tournament starts on Tuesday. We've got Maryland versus Oregon, Penn State versus Northwestern. Wisconsin, as a 5 seed, would play the Game 4 winner, which is between Washington and USC. So Wisconsin plays the winner between Washington and USC. If Wisconsin were to win that game, they would play Illinois. They would play Illinois on Friday, a team that they've already beaten this year. So you've got Michigan as the 1 seed in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. Nebraska is the 2, Michigan State is the 3, and Illinois is the 4 seed. Those top 4 seeds getting the buys all the way through Friday. If Wisconsin, on Friday, I know maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but if Wisconsin were to beat Illinois, if they win their first game, which hopefully they can beat Washington or USC, and let's say they beat Illinois on Friday, then they would play the winner between Michigan and, well, I mean, we don't know it could be Ohio State. It'd probably be between Michigan and Ohio State, but Ohio State plays Iowa. It could be all over. I'm going to just say Michigan. So potentially another rematch against Michigan there. So, yeah, Wisconsin after the first game, I think once we get to like Thursday, no offense to these other teams, but this Big Ten Conference tournament is going to be crazy, or cray-cray as the kids still say that. I don't know. But, I mean, there's some really good matchups. Some potentially really good matchups. Boy, Michigan, Nebraska, Michigan State, Illinois, Wisconsin's the 5. You throw in Purdue. I mean, Purdue's a 7 seed right now. UCLA got the 6 seed in this tournament. So, boy, you could, again, half dozen teams. I think you can make the case to win this conference tournament. So I think there's a chance Wisconsin could maybe climb up to a 5 seed, depending on how this conference tournament goes. Because I think if they beat, let's say they're 6 right now. If they beat, whoever they play in the first game, Washington or USC, and win their second rounds against Illinois, I think if they add another win against Illinois, you got to move them up another spot. Then I think you're at a 5. Could they get all the way up to a 4? I think if they win the Big Ten Conference Tournament, where they would have to go through Illinois, and they would have to go through Michigan and beat them, and then potentially beat either a Nebraska or a Michigan State in the championship game, if somehow Wisconsin runs through this thing, runs the table, and wins it, how do you not move them up at least a couple more spots in the bracketology? You have to. Now, is that a big, like, I can get into the whole debate. Now we're going to get into that debate, like how long of a run do you want in conference tournaments? Happens every year, right? How long of a run do you want in conference tournaments? Do you want to go through the gauntlet where you're a little bit beat up? And, you're looking at the Big Ten conference tournament, right? These are really fantastic teams. And that's the age-old debate about, do you want to win it, or do you want maybe that extra day of rest before the national tournament and such? You got examples all across the board. Just go out there and win. That's always got to be the goal, right? That's always got to be the goal. So, but no, this Wisconsin team, I don't know if they are projected as a 6 seed. How do you look at the teams that they have beaten? How they got the potential to be like an Elite 8 team, I feel. Would it surprise us if they lose in the first round or second round? Nope, not at all. So it's really hard to gauge this team. Marquette, great win over the weekend too. I don't want to ignore Marquette, but they really need to do a lot of work in the conference tournament. They want to get in this thing. They're probably going to have to win the Big East tournament. That's just the way it is. Marquette, 7-13 overall in conference play. They're 12-19 overall, even with a win against UConn. They're going to have to win this Big East conference tournament to try to get in. But with UConn losing, that means St. John's finished up top. Then it's UConn. And then Villanova. And Seton Hall, 10-10. You have 3 teams that had winning conference records in the Big East. St. John's, UConn, Villanova. And then Seton Hall's 4th with a 10-10 conference record. A little bit of a down year for the Big East. Compare it to, let's say, the Big Ten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams with winning records in conference play. Then you got Iowa at 500. So you got 9. All right, we'll talk some more hoops coming up a little bit later on. I want to switch gears and chat a little Brewers baseball, spring training, World Baseball Classic and such. But, man, Kyle Harrison, this newcomer, he's been pretty impressive in his limited action so far in spring training. Maybe setting the bar a little high coming up this year. I'll tell you what he did yesterday after these quick words. Next Friday, we're going to be doing the show from VFW Post 305 for a little hoops skip day. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch some basketball all day long, we'll be posted up at the VFW Post 305. All right, and then the fun happens starting around 11 to 3 for a little hoop skip day. We've got some free beverages. We're going to be handing out some prizes and such, including some Brewers tickets. So a lot of stuff will be happening next Friday, March 20th. So I know a lot of you take the day off. If you're going to take the day off and you're looking for somewhere to watch some basketball, hang out with us at the VFW Post 305. So maybe we'll get Justice to stop by. Reminder, we've got our local sports roundup with Justice Cleveland coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. So we'll hit up all of our local sports stuff with Justice coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. But just popped up, Tua's a free agent. So Dolphins doing a lot of work this offseason. They've cut Tua. They've cut Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, Alec Ingold, who apparently sounds like he's going to the Chargers. So, yeah, John Eric Sullivan, former Packers front office executive. Obviously, Jeff Hafley, the head coach, tearing things down to rebuild it. So, Tua now the Dolphins even came out with a statement. So, it's officially official. Tua is now a free agent, joining a free agent class that includes Malik Willis, Kyler Murray. Be interesting to see how the quarterback pool kind of plays out here. So, but all right, let's switch gears and talk a little Milwaukee Brewers. By the way, you can check out the Milwaukee Brewers game today as they take on the Dodgers. Take on the Dodgers at 3 o'clock today. 3 o'clock if on your radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So, yesterday, though, Kyle Harrison, the guy that came over was kind of the one of the guys that came over from the Caleb Durbin trade, but was kind of the prize return for the Brewers, left-handed pitcher. He got to start yesterday, and he went 3 innings, giving up just 2 hits, 1 earned run. It was on a home run, but in 3 innings, he also struck out 8 batters. 8 batters. Dude has looked really good so far in spring training. I know he's only pitched in a couple of games and such, but I mean, Kyle Harrison has really looked the part so far in the early goings here. And I don't know if that means he's going to be able to make the opening day roster. Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel has a little piece on it. It says Pat Murphy has not quite yet gone as far as to say as much, but after a dynamite outing yesterday, it would seem Harrison is trending towards a seat on the team charter back to Milwaukee in 2 weeks. Save for one first pitch fastball, he grooved to Leo Rivas for a home run in the second. Harrison was downright filthy as he struck out 8 over 3 innings. Harrison had a 4 strikeout inning in the second with a pass ball, third strike, allowing a runner to reach base. So he kind of looks like he's major league ready. Pat Murphy was asked, does he view Harrison as ready for a big league role? Murphy didn't even let the question finish before answering yes. So Jacob Mizrowski also pitched in the game yesterday too, and he looks sharp. Kind of some similarities between Harrison and Miz, maybe not in terms of like the power and such, but Jacob Mizrowski, solid in his performance yesterday, going 3 1/3, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run. It was a home run, but he also struck out 6. It kind of feels like if Brandon Woodruff is not the guy that's going to get the opening day start, it feels like that it might be Mizrowski. It feels like it's going to be Mizrowski. Now, Brandon Woodruff did pitch on Saturday against the Angels. He pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, struck out 3, did issue 1 walk. It clocked around 93.9, 94 miles per hour with his fastball. And, after the game, still kind of talked opening day isn't the main goal. As he kind of said, it's a ceremonial thing, but, after opening day, nobody really remembers it. People remember the September and the October games. That is the goal that they have in mind. So they're taking it slow. Opening day isn't the main thing here. I think the main thing, too, is just we want to make sure Woodruff is healthy to begin the season. But I get it, too, that they want to make sure he's going to be ready to go for September and October. But that we can't forecast that. They don't know if he's going to be good to go. We don't know if he's going to be good to go. It's not like they're going to bubble wrap him and, just have him sit until September and October. Or he's going to miss half the season like a Roger Clemens and decide, hey, I'm going to miss the first half and just sign with the Yankees and then pitch the second half. That's not going to be the case with Woodruff. I get what they're doing right now, but at the same time, and I know that their goal is we want to make sure he's good for September and October. But once the regular season gets going here and he's on the mound in that, we don't know if he's going to be good to go in September and October. There's so many variables. I mean, knock on wood again. You're hoping. We're hoping he would be able to. We also got to win games in the regular season to get to that point, too. But it does seem like at least it's trending a little bit more positive with Brandon Woodruff being able to go at the beginning of the season. Might not be the opening day starter, but at least, him getting a start on Saturday, getting a little bit of work in. It feels like it's trending that he's going to be good to go when the season opens up. Maybe it's Chad Patrick who gets the opening day start. Maybe this is kind of an informal poll question that, if I can remember, I'll throw out there for our post-class Amir one tonight. Does it matter anymore who the opening day starter is in your as a fan? Does it matter to you anymore? It's a cool thing, and I think for a lot of pitchers, yeah, they probably want to be that opening day starter. But after maybe guys have done it every few times, is that the biggest thing? I don't know. I don't know. Another player. This was from Kurt Hogg yesterday, too. Garrett Mitchell. So, obviously, we've talked a lot about what are we going to expect from Garrett Mitchell? What are we going to expect from him? Can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy? Can he be a big part of this season? And, I mean, just a few days ago, dude shellacked a home run. He's been hitting the ball really hard, though. I mean, really hard. Kurt Hogg threw out these numbers in terms of how fast the ball is coming off his bat. You're looking at 111.5 miles per hour, 107.8, 104.6 are his top ones. I mean, he is hitting it hard. Hitting it hard. So I think it's just the health aspect of Garrett Mitchell. We just got to see this guy stay healthy. We just got to have him be available to be out there. Right? That's what we want to see. So. But so far, outside of Quinn Priester and what's going on with his wrist injury, it feels like I've been knocking this table here all morning long because I don't want to jinx anything, but it feels like Brewers so far, fingers crossed, not bad in terms of injuries and that, but outside of the Quinn Priester one, but hopefully it kind of tracks or trends in that same direction. So, but yeah, Kyle Harrison, man, the way he's pitching right now, how do you not? I know it's only been a couple outings and not the biggest sample size, but when you throw in that Quinn Priester might not be ready to go and and Kyle Harrison does have some major league experience already, so it's not like he hasn't been up there before. I don't know how you not have him in that opening day rotation. I mean, he's got some filthy stuff. If you haven't seen it, maybe you've just been listening to it on the radio, go and look up some of the video clips with his slurve and some of his others. I mean, that guy's got some grease. That he's got some sweet stuff. Glad he's on my team right now. I'm excited to see him, Mizorowski, some of these younger pitchers, Patrick. There's a lot to like. And right now, Kyle Harrison has been, I think, really impressive in his limited action so far in spring. I really like it. And remember, again, too, they started him off a little bit slow, too, because they wanted to get their coaches' hands on him. They wanted to get Chris Hook and Jim Henderson, kind of mold him a little bit before throwing him out there. And all the results have been pretty darn good so far. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to here, though, as we are at the bottom half of the second quarter. We'll be right back after these quick words. Tax season is here. What about that refund check? Hey, it's more than just extra spending money. It's an opportunity. This year, why not invest it right where you live? Upgrade your home with beautiful new flooring from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether you've been dreaming about warm, comfortable carpet, maybe some durable luxury vinyl planks like the innovative Ridge & Max flooring, or some waterproof options perfect for the busy families, now's the time to make it happen. Your tax return can go a long way towards transforming the look and feel of your home. And at Carpet City Flooring Center, you'll find expert guidance, professional installation, and flooring options for every budget. Don't let that refund disappear on little things you won't remember next month. Put it towards something that you will see and enjoy every single day. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and turn your tax return into a home upgrade that you will love for years to come. I had somebody throw in, what about Tua as a backup for Green Bay for 1 year? I mean, I would imagine Tua is going to be cheap just because the Dolphins are paying so much yet to him. So, I mean, sure. Why? I'm all about depth. Best depth possible. Why not? I'm okay with it if it doesn't cost too much just to have that backup. I don't. That's the thing with Tua. That's actually the thing for a lot of these quarterbacks. When you really look at some of the top available quarterbacks on the free agent market, are they going to go to situations that are best for them, maybe for the long term, or are they just going to go cash in? Because let's take a look at like the 4 quarterbacks that are free agents. Malik Willis, okay? He's going to cash in. He's going to get a nice pay raise. The question for him is, does he go to a situation that is still, better suited for him, maybe offensive philosophy, organizational wise, or does he just go to the highest bidder? Where's that going to be? What's the priority for him? Maybe he goes to the highest bidder, but it's not a great situation. Or does he go take a little bit less? He's still going to get paid. Take a little bit less, but go into a really good spot. Then you look at the Tuas and the Kyler Murrays. Are they willing to maybe take a backup role to kind of, all right, 1 year backup role, going to be, kind of the Sam Darnold route to kind of maybe fix my career or go into a situation where I'm going to be a backup and just kind of, get adjusted, get fixed up a little bit, like Darnold did with San Francisco after jumping around a little bit. Or do they try to like, hey, I just want to cash in. I want to start. I don't care where it's going to be. I just want to go in there. I don't care if it's the Jets or the Browns. I'm going to sign a multi-year deal there, and I'm going to be a starter. And then, I just want to play. I want to play. It probably takes a little bit of a – and I would say, Sam Darnold probably kind of ran out of options at the point. I mean, starter for the Jets, and then it was Carolina, and then it's like, okay, now I got to be a start. Then he took a 1-year deal over for Minnesota. Worked out incredibly well for him, right? Not every quarterback gets that chance. Not every quarterback, it works out that way. But, with Kyler and Tua, that to me is going to be the interesting part. Do they go somewhere for a year, be that backup, but maybe it's under a Shanahan, maybe it's under a LaFleur, maybe it's under a Sean McVay, those quarterback-friendly systems, and then hit the market the next year. And then you got a Kirk Cousins. Towards the end of his career, what does he want? Does he just want to play? Doesn't matter the team. Doesn't matter the situation. Just wants to play. Or is he good maybe going to a team that, hey, that's a championship caliber team. I could win my first ring, but maybe I'm a backup. Maybe I get a couple starts, but nothing's guaranteed. So it's really interesting for me to see those 4 quarterbacks and kind of where they're going to go. And just kind of I guess the path that they choose is the best way to put it. DK, 3-part question for you. Rumors are on the Twitter sphere that the Packers are heavily pursuing Dexter Lawrence and or Jalen Carter. Okay, I've seen a couple people say this. Show me those rumors. Because if these are blogger wannabe stuff, let's just take a step back here too. My question to you is, what would it take to get one of them over to Green Bay, and what would you give up to get them, and would you want them? I mean, so Jalen Carter, for one, you're going to have to sign to a massive deal. If you bring him over, you're going to have to sign him to a new deal. That's part of the problem there. Are you going to have enough money? I think if you bring in a Jalen Carter, you're not going to be able to re-sign Devontae Wyatt after that. So what's your preference with that? And then with Dexter Lawrence, he's at least under contract for a couple years, but his cap hit is so flipping high. I mean, you're talking $26 to $27 million per. There would have to be some sort of restructuring. And I don't think Dexter Lawrence fits Green Bay in terms of acquiring him with that huge of a cap hit because of his age. He's going to be 30 next year. I don't know if Green Bay would be about that. I would just, this time of year too, I would caution for a lot of people when you see those rumors out there, just caution where they're actually coming from. Like Andrew Brandt, again, I think it's a good reminder for this time. Andrew Brandt, who obviously worked for the Packers and such, and he always tells the story around this time of year. Agents would call him up when he was with the Packers and say, can we use you as a team to spread a rumor that you're interested in my client? And Andrew's response was, hey, if that's going to drive the price up for our competition, go ahead. And Green Bay, obviously now, when you look at interior defensive tackle, if there is a agent out there for a potential defensive tackle, you're looking at teams like who has a need for defensive tackles. Green Bay is a team that has a need for defensive tackles. And Green Bay is a team that is a championship contending team. And I'm not saying this is what is happening, but I'm just saying just kind of keep it in the back of your mind. It's a possibility of what could be happening. If you're seeing that stuff, they could be throwing hey, Green Bay's interested in my guy. That's a championship team. You don't want my guy to go to Green Bay. So if you want him, you're going to have to pay up a little bit. You're trying to draw up that chat. And you're trying to draw up that market. I would be shocked, beyond shocked, if they did anything like that, especially considering the money that would be involved. With no first-round pick either this year, I don't see Green Bay trading a day 2 pick in this year's draft. And I think if, let's use the Jalen Carter example. You don't have a first-rounder next year either. I mean, if it's going to be a first-rounder that's going to get – you're talking about really taking a page from the Rams playbook then and saying, blank those picks. And I just don't think that's what Green Bay's doing or they're going to do. I don't see that happening. Would I be mad if it happened? No, I'd be like, all right, let's go. Let's print the shirts right now. Here we go. I don't see that happening at all. I see them rolling with Devontae Wyatt, trying to maybe get an extension done with him to lower this year's cap hit. And then maybe you bring in a veteran on a 1-year, 2-year type of deal. And you're probably drafting maybe an interior defensive lineman day 2. I don't see the massive moves to bring in the huge cap hits that would come with a Jalen Carter and with a Dexter Lawrence. Now, if they didn't have Elton Jenkins and Rashawn Gary, and they won't, but they're going to have some dead cap hit when they move on from those guys. If they didn't have that much dead cap hit, okay, then maybe. But I don't see that happening. I put that as option incredibly low on a scale of 1 to 10, like at a 2 of it happening. All right, we got to take another break here. We'll wrap up the second quarter Coming up after these quick words. Looking for reliable auto service in the Chippewa Valley? Well, hey, you've got two options right here in Eau Claire, and they're both AJM Automotive. With two convenient locations in Eau Claire, AJM Automotive makes it easy to get the care that your vehicle deserves, whether it's routine maintenance, maybe some brake work done, engine repairs, maybe you need a new set of tires. Whatever the case may be, they got you covered. Friendly experts, honest advice, quality service that gets you back on the road safely. You can head to their website, ajmautomotiveservices.com, for service hours, details. Make sure you are following their Facebook page as well. And their new location on Bellinger Street, too, opened up on Saturdays. Just drove by on Saturday, saw them opening it up, too. So it makes it more convenient, more helpful for you to get your vehicle in, because, sometimes we can't take off of work to get our vehicle some service done. So AJM Automotive at their new location on Bellinger Street opened up on Saturdays to help you out as well. So, again, check out their website for more details and locations for their Bellinger Street and their Brackett Avenue location, ajmautomotiveservices.com. Just got a few minutes left to the top of the hour. We'll do a little... first of all, continue to send me some of your best and worst from the weekend. Our VFW Post 305, best and worst from the weekend. All right, text those on over, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. We'll get to some of those. We've got some local sports roundup with JC and EC, Justice Cleveland, Sports Scene 13. We'll hit up who's going to state for girls basketball, the latest in the boys basketball playoff run, hockey, all that good stuff. So we'll let the expert JC break it down for us coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Keep you posted if anything else kind of pops up on the NFL wire. Okay. Yeah. All right. Just looking at some of the rumors and stuff out there. But, just if anything does happen to pop up here in the next couple hours while we're still on, before legal tampering officially begins at 11 o'clock our time, we'll keep you posted. But if you haven't chimed in yet on your thoughts on what the Packers have done over the weekend, let me know. And for those who voted you didn't like the moves on our Post Glass and Mirror 715 Speaks poll question on the Sports Talk Facebook page, tell me why. I'm genuinely curious why you didn't like them acquiring Zaire Franklin, or why you didn't like them keeping Sean Ryan. And if it's because, I want them to do this, that. Remember, nothing's officially started yet either. They're not done. So do you like the moves so far? That's the question. So if you said no because they didn't do this yet, or they didn't do that's not the question. The question is, do you like what they have done thus far? And thus far, nearly 90% of you say you do. You do. But give me your reasoning. All right, send those on over. Want to hear from you. So we'll keep you posted. We'll get back to some more football talk and such. But, definitely keep posted if anything else happens to pop up here in the next couple hours and such. Want to get back to some more hoops talk as it's conference tournament week and such. Badgers coming off of a big win against Purdue. They are the 5 seed in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. So they will be in action on Thursday. So got a few days yet. Selection Sunday obviously coming up this Sunday. But right now all the bracketology has Wisconsin at a 6 seed. From all the ones that I've seen so far, they've got them as a 6 seed. So maybe I think that's the floor. I even if they drop their first game, I don't think they're going to go below a 6 seed. I think potentially they could move up another seed at that 5-12 matchup. They could move up to a 5. Heck, if they win this whole conference tournament, how do you not move them up to at least a 4? I mean, because that would be wins against Illinois, Michigan, and then either like Nebraska or a Michigan State. How do you not move up to maybe at least a 4 at that point? So, but I think the floor is 6. Ceiling, I'd say 4 if all goes well. But also we had Marquette with a big win, taking down UConn, but they're going to have to win that Big East Conference tournament to get into the big dance here. So we'll see if they're able to do that or not. But So we'll get to some hoops chat. I'll get back some more baseball chat. Yeah, Miz, answer your question, Paul. Miz has pitched a couple times already. He pitched in yesterday's game, the game that we actually went through Miz's numbers and such. So, but yeah, we'll hit that up a little bit more too. And Miz had a nice performance yesterday, striking out 6 in 3. So, but yeah, he's pitched a couple times so far. So, but also, I want to do our new segment a little called Glory Days. That'll be back towards the back end of the 8 o'clock hour. So we'll hit that up and such too. Bucks falling again yesterday to Orlando Magic. Giannis did not play. Management with his calf strain. So, I mean, when you look at things now where the Bucks stands, they're still in the 11th spot. They're 4 games behind the Hornets right now. Atlanta is just on a tear. They have won 6 games in a row right now. So Hornets have lost 2, so it's not completely out of the realm for Milwaukee maybe to catch up to the Hornets. But, Milwaukee's 63 games into this season. They're now about 77% completed. So we are into that final quarter mathematically, the regular season here for the Bucks. And, boy, they got to figure something out here. And they're going to need some help too. But they'll be back at it tomorrow and such. So we'll throw a little Bucks chat in there. But I got a feeling with everything else going on this month, free agency, March Madness, baseball season, like the Bucks right now might be at the bottom of the totem pole for a lot of people, and understandably so, given everything that's going on with them and everything else that's going on in the sports world. So, all right, we are at halftime. 2 in, 2 more to go. Got some news updates, and we'll be back to kick off the third quarter coming up in just a couple minutes. All right, third quarter kicks off right now on this Monday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. If it's on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. Also got the app. Download it, take it on the go. Your Alexa, Google devices. YouTube stream also up and rolling. Coming up next hour, we'll chat with Justice Cleveland. We'll do our Carpet City Flooring Center local sports roundup. Girls basketball, we got state coming up. Congrats to Rice Lake, Galeva Strum, Neelsville, all going to states, and everybody else, all the other teams advancing to state too. Boys basketball, we'll find out who's going to be going to states after this weekend's games. So hit that up and chat all things local sports coming up here a little bit later on. So we'll get back to some more football talk here, too, as legal tampering period begins 2 hours from now. 2 hours. Or no, 3 hours. Excuse me. I was thinking it was 9 o'clock right now. 3 hours from now. So hold on to your butts for all the alleged reports and signings already magically happening and such. So it'll be coming hot and heavy right away. So we'll keep you posted in the next couple hours if there's any more moves to be had by the Packers from this weekend. So, hoops-wise, we've talked a lot about the Badgers. Marquette even getting a nice one. But with the Badgers, we know they're going to be making the tournament. Where are they going to be seated? A lot of it has it at 6. I think that's their floor. I think if they maybe win a couple games in the Big Ten Conference tournament, especially, winning their first one won't do anything, but if you can get another win against, like, Illinois, maybe they can move up to a 5. But if they win that whole thing, I don't know how you can't put them at a 4. But that's just me. But bracketology right now has them all at as a 6 seed from all the ones that I have seen. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get back to some more baseball talk coming up here as well. The Brewers will be back on the radio today. 3 o'clock, coverage begins. They'll be taking on the Dodgers. But we talked a lot about Kyle Harrison, the new lefty that came over in the Caleb Durbin trade. He's making a push, and I think right now he's got a spot in that rotation. Chad Patrick, it was already said that he's got a spot, Pat Murphy said. Jacob Izrowski, we know, is already in there. Brandon Woodruff, whenever he's ready, is going to be in there. So those are three guys that are in that rotation. Quinn Priester is just kind of an unknown at this point if he's going to be ready to go. So I'm not counting Quinn Priester to be in that rotation when the season begins, just because everything we have heard so far about that wrist injury in that, it doesn't paint a very good picture that Priester is going to be able to go. So I think Kyle Harrison makes it, and then you're kind of looking at that fifth spot. You've got combination. You can go a bunch of different routes here if they decide to, but at least Milwaukee is better prepared to handle some starting pitching issues at this point than they were last year. Obviously, we don't want to start the season with Quinn Priester not ready to go and still dealing with some issues from last year. But Brewers are in a better spot right now than what they were last year when they began. And they didn't know that they were going to begin the season with all those injuries and such. But at least they're better positioned for it right now. So, but other than that, has there been anything else? If you've been following along with spring training games, has there been anything that's kind of really like, ooh, that guy's been really good, or that guy's really kind of surprised me and such? Let me know. Otherwise, maybe you've been kind of following along with the World Baseball Classic as that has gone underway. Bryce Terang had a nice debut the other day, didn't he? A couple doubles and such. So Bryce Terang maybe making more of a name for himself from a national perspective. I mean, a lot of people obviously know Bryce Terang, Platinum Glove, Gold Glove guy in that, but outside of Milwaukee, maybe not as well known. But with what he's been able to do so far, and maybe being on the national stage, world stage, with the World Baseball Classic, he might be turning some heads. And hey, maybe a future All-Star game is in his horizon and such. But yeah, he collected 3 hits, 4 RBIs in his debut for the World Baseball Classic. So I've I don't know how many games everybody's been able to kind of watch and follow along and such, but I've been enjoying these games. I think they've been a lot of fun. I was looking forward to the World Baseball Classic, and so far I've been really entertained. I really like it so far. I know Korea and Australia are going on right now. We got Dominican Republic and Israel going on later today. So Mexico and USA tonight. Coming your way tonight. So, but if you haven't watched one of those games, if you have the ability to, I recommend it. I know Bryce Harper, was it a quote that he had? Was it just the other day? But I just saw it pop up over the weekend too. He said, World Baseball Classic great, but it's not the Olympics. Are we going to see the day, maybe, baseball back in the Olympics? But this kind of fills in that void. And, when you look at it from an Olympic standpoint, I think that might make some teams a little bit more open to their guys maybe playing because it's before spring training or right when spring training kind of starts in that. So, I don't know, but now you got Tariq Skubal, who wasn't supposed to pitch anymore, but now it might change because it seems like he really, really wants to continue to pitch. After Team USA won on Saturday against Great Britain, Skubal said he will, quote, make a decision here in the next couple days about rejoining. This is going to be one of the tougher decisions I've made in my career so far. It just changes your perspective a little bit, and how proud I am to be an American and go out there and pitch and compete, thinking about the people that make real sacrifices for me to play a kid's game. So we'll see. So he got really emotional too. He said, I didn't expect these types of emotions to run through my brain or my thoughts to differ. I was pretty committed to making a start and getting back to camp. Things have changed. That's why I'm going to have some conversations, try to figure out the plan for me. But yeah, I don't know either way. So kind of a cool thing from Skubal. But I've really enjoyed it. I don't know about the rest of you. But Brandon Woodruff also, going back to the Brewers here. So Saturday he started the game against the Angels back on Saturday. So, the talk about Brandon Woodruff has been opening day, might not be ready. But that's, for Brandon Woodruff and for the Brewers, it's not about opening day. It's about September and October. That's the mindset that they've always set and have gone out there and said. It continues to be about being available for September and October. Now, this is March. They don't know right now. They can prepare. They're easing them on in and not rushing it and that. But once the season starts, they're not going to be able to really try to help him be ready for September or try to make sure that he's going to be ready for September and October outside of literally shutting him down and saying, you're not pitching until September or you're not pitching until after the All-Star break, going a little Roger Clemens-esque. We know that's not going to happen. I understand what they're doing, and I understand that's their goal. But really, once the season gets going, it's kind of hold your breath, cross your fingers, hold on to your lucky rabbit's foot that nothing's going to happen to him during the season. So if they are in that position, that he can pitch in September and October. But he made his spring debut, and I thought, he did some good. I think he looked shy. I thought he looked like Brandon Woodruff. I thought he looked like the Brandon Woodruff that we've kind of come to know. He said after his outing, though, opening day is a special day, but nobody is going to remember it after opening day. They're going to remember September and October. That's what I want to be a part of at the end of the year. Murphy also saying, we've got a lot up in the air. We're trying to keep turning the dial. There's a lot to tune. Our pitching staff is very, very young. So, but I even if he's not the opening day starter, it feels like Woodruff's going to be at least available again. Knock on wood, no injuries. He's going to be available to open up the regular season, like in the first few games of the regular season, first week, first whatever. And with Quinn Priester out, probably not going to be the opening day starter. It sure seems like it might be Chad Patrick or Jake Mizorowski as your opening day starter to open up the season here in a couple weeks. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to hit up, though. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Accidents happen. Getting back on the road shouldn't be stressful, though. At Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, you will find experienced technicians, quality craftsmanship, and service that you can trust. From collision repair and dent removal to full paint work and insurance coordination, they handle the details so you do not have to. They'll restore your vehicle the right way, safely, professionally, and with attention to every detail. When your vehicle needs expert care, choose the team that puts quality first. Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, bringing your vehicle back to life, one repair at a time. We got a couple of texts to get to here. John says, we dumped their tea in the harbor. Now we're dumping runs on them. Team USA beating Great Britain is my best of the weekend. Surveyor says, best of the weekend, Georgia Southern being led by Spud Webb to the championship game. And worst of the weekend, I love this guy, but the Packers vastly overpaid for Sean Ryan. I'm not ready to go there yet. I want to see the details come out. Again, we can't use the average per year of these deals. 3 years, $33 million, $11 million. The signing bonus is the main thing so far that I'm taking away because that's the only guaranteed portion of it is the $11 million. So really it's kind of if you kind of want to break it down, it might just be like a 3-year, $22 million type of deal. Again, I don't want to bore people in terms of how salary caps and such work, but I'm not ready to go there yet. I want to see more of the details outside of the 3 versus 33. Because, again, I think, this time of year we got to be careful. These are agents that are coming out with a lot. So, like when these NFL insiders are saying one of the highest paid or doing this, it's like a marketing thing for those agents. Because at the end of all this stuff that we're seeing right now, and we'll continue to see today in the next few days, 90% of these tweets are going to be say contract negotiated by so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. So, of course, that agent is going to want it also included, hey, I negotiated this deal to make so-and-so all this amount of money. Well, when you look at it from a little bit of a deeper perspective and such, let's wait and see what the actual breakdowns are. It's the guaranteed money is the big thing. That to me is the biggest thing. I'm not looking at the total value, from an average per year sort of thing. I want to see the breakdown per year. And what's the guaranteed portion? $11 million signing bonus, when you divide it by, 3, because, again, $11 million, he's getting that right away. But you divide it by the length of the contract in terms of a salary cap hit. So it's about, just from the signing bonus itself, $3.7 million per year. And then we'll see what the total guaranteed. If the total guarantee is like only $11 million, if its total guarantee is only the signing bonus, you're talking like a 3.7 cap hit and such. So that's why I want to see the full-on breakdown before. Because it's not as simple as, he's making $11 million per year. No. And odds are his first year base salary is going to be very low. Very, very low, because he's getting $11 million signing bonus, and he gets that right away. So, but again, we'll find that out in the coming days, maybe even a little bit later on today, or maybe not until middle of the week here. So, really quick update on the poll question. We asked fans, did you like the moves that the Packers have made so far? The Zaire Franklin move and the re-signing Sean Ryan. Still 87% of you saying, yes, you do. You do. And I'm with you on the 87%. The Zaire Franklin one I like for a couple different reasons. One, you're bringing in a veteran linebacker, was an all-pro, second-team All-Pro a couple of years ago, and that was a couple of years ago, but you're bringing in a veteran linebacker who's under contract for a couple of years yet. You shored up that spot. It means Quay Walker is not coming back. So Quay Walker's probably going to get, again, we'll do the average, about 15 per year. Zaire's about 10 per year. So you're saving potentially a little bit of money there. Yes, he's a couple years older, a few years older, but for a lot of people, a lot of Packers just want maybe some more veterans added to this team. Well, you got a veteran linebacker to pair up with Edgerrin Cooper. He's more of a downhill type of guy. But what this also means, if you wanted Green Bay to address defensive tackle into your defensive line, trading Colby Wooden for Franklin just makes that more of a need now. So, I mean, if there was questions about whether Green Bay was going to actually go out there and maybe get a defensive tackle or, actually get some help out there, now they kind of have to. Right? You trade Colby Wooden, who was a starter last year. You kind of have to. Kind of forced to now. So I like it. I like that move for those reasons because it forces the hand that they've got to go out there and find some more defensive tackle help now. But you're bringing in a veteran lineman, and throughout his 8 years, he has played at least 16 games or 17 games every single year. Every single year. So, knock on wood, that continues, health-wise. Guy who's apparently well-respected within the locker room, a voice that is well-respected within the locker room. I like it. And as of right now, I'm good with the Sean Ryan deal. I want to see what that breakdown is going to be through his 3 years. But I like the fact that the signing bonus was only $11 million. If he doesn't have much more guaranteed after that, it's a contract that it might be set up to where Green Bay can move on from it after maybe a year or two. That's why I want to see the breakdown of it. So you bring him back. All right, it gives you maybe a little bit more flexibility in what you can do with your offensive line. I don't think it necessarily changes a lot when it comes to the draft, but maybe it doesn't force the hand. You're like, oh, crap, we got to get a guy with our second-round pick. You have a little bit more flexibility now. Now you can maybe really focus on building the depth of your offensive line. Because we know the starters. It's Morgan. It's Banks. It's Sean Ryan. It's Anthony Belton. It's Zach Tom. Now, to be fair, does that sound like an offensive line that's going to probably, give a lot of people confidence heading into the season? Probably not. Right? I mean, that's probably not going to boost a lot of people's stock in that offensive line. Like, oh, I'm jacked up for this group now. This is the 2014 offensive line all over again when they had Brian Bulaga, TJ Lang, Corey Lindsley, Josh Sitton, and David Bakhtiari. No. It's not. Yeah, I hope it would develop into something like that, but that's not right now. And yeah, Green Bay right now is counting on, improvement from Aaron Banks. They're counting on Sean Ryan to continue to improve from the center position. We know what we got with Zach Tom. They're hoping for a year 2 growth from Anthony Belton, and they're hoping for Jordan Morgan to play as well as he did in training camp and preseason at left tackle. And actually, you look at the numbers and such, when he played tackle in the regular season, whether it was right and the limited time at left, he was much better than what he was at guard. But, yeah, I'm right there with you, too. If you're still a little bit nervous on that starting unit, I'm there with you, too. It's right now, on paper, it's not the greatest line that we've seen in Packers history. We'll see how it all kind of plays out, but I think what that move of bringing in Ryan, and again, we'll see what the full-on details are, it gives them maybe a little bit more flexibility when they enter the draft where they can okay, day 2, round 2 and 3, maybe we can focus a little bit on here. Maybe we can find our corner, maybe some defensive tackle help, and then day 3, we really hit home the depth pieces when it comes to our offensive line. It gives you a little bit more flexibility from that standpoint. Otherwise, if they didn't make this move, I mean, you're looking at who is the new starting center. You're either going to have to go out in free agency and get one, or you're going to have to use a fairly high draft pick, and those aren't always a for sure thing either. Other moves, they kind of kicked the can down the road with Aaron Banks, opened up some cap space with his contract. And I know our good buddy Rob Domofsky out there said that we'll see about Nate Hobbs. There's been rumblings that his time with the Packers could be coming to an end. And that one to me is a little interesting for a couple reasons here. Obviously, Green Bay has a need at corner. And you look at, and I know on Spot Track, they said potential out for his contract, the way it was structured, was after 1 year. This year, he has a cap hit of about $12.8 million. $12.8 million. If they were to release him, you're saving about $800,000. It kind of feels like if they hold on to him this year, this would be the final year unless he just completely balls out, because then he'd have a $14 million cap hit in 2027 with only an $8 million dead cap. But Green Bay is like a couple moves away where if they move on from Elton Jenkins, which is going to happen, I feel like at this point, and if they move on from Rashawn Gary, which is going to happen at this point, that creates about I'm just kind of rounding, $37 million available in cap space. You move on from Nate Hobbs after 1 year. It kind of washes that out a little bit. And I know, Friday that Rashawn Gary there was on his Instagram, a goodbye post. It was quickly deleted, and apparently he was hacked. Now, you can fill in your own conspiracy theories on that, whether that actually happened or not. Was it, Rashawn wasn't supposed to do that. They're still working out some details, so it was quickly deleted, maybe a trade or whatever. I don't know. You could come up with your own conclusions on that. But something's going to happen. He ain't going to be on this team on that certain contract, on that certain deal to begin the year. It's not going to happen. So, but get ready for I just keep refreshing Twitter to see if there's anything out there. Oh, we do have a trade. Okay, we got a trade. Wow, the Dolphins are just like unloading everybody. Minkah Fitzpatrick, gone, traded to the New York Jets in exchange for a 7th-round pick. The Jets will sign Fitzpatrick to a 3-year, $40 million deal, according to his agent, Drew Rosenhaus. So, wow, Miami really just like unloading everybody and starting from scratch. John Eric Sullivan coming in saying, tearing everything down and starting from scratch. Might be, if you're a Dolphins fan, it might be a couple years to turn that thing around. Be patient. Just be patient, Dolphins fans. But all right, got another trade here. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though, as we are halfway through the third quarter. Yeah, third quarter already. Man. All right, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. And of course, as soon as we headed to into the break, I think it was Diana Rossini, first one to report it. But Rashawn Gary traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2027 day 3 pick. So it's a late pick. We're talking anywhere from 4 through 7. Don't know the exact round. It might be dependent on escalators, performance, and such. But yeah, Rashawn Gary traded to the Dallas Cowboys. So they get an extra pick and gain about $11 million in cap space with this trade. So, hey, that's a win. That's a win. I'll call that a win for Green Bay. Seemed like they were just probably going to cut him and free up some cap space, but to get a draft pick in return, all right, there you go. Say what you want about it being a day 3 pick, but for crying out loud, if they were going to release him and literally not get anything in return because of it, hey, come on now. That's a nice win for Green Bay. So there you have it. Green Bay making moves. Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be some Packers fans that are going to complain because it's not a draft pick for this year. But again, to me, the fact that it says a day 3 pick for 2027, I feel like it's probably because the pick might depend on if he reaches certain elevators. Like, okay, if he plays a certain amount of snaps, if he makes a Pro Bowl, if he has double-digit sacks, if he reaches all those escalators and such, the better the pick becomes. We have seen that time and time again. It's like the Brett Favre trade to the Jets, right? If you make it a certain way, the better the Jets did, the higher the pick. The Aaron Rodgers trade, right? Well, if he does this and this, it could be a first-round pick in that. So to me, it's probably a trade that a lot's going to depend on how he does and maybe how well the team does. So, but hey, another edge rusher, another pass rusher involved in a Packers and Cowboys trade, right? Last year, I think a lot of people kind of wishing it was going to be Rashawn Gary traded for Micah Parsons. Instead, it was Kenny Clark, but now Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark teaming up down in Dallas. So, man, Green Bay is just Goody working the phones, dude. Goody working the phones. And here's the other thing that I think is a nice win for Green Bay, too. Look at Rashawn Gary's contract that we have talked about all the time for how much he is getting paid. For how much he is getting paid and the production that he has had out there. The fact that they were able to trade him to a team. Trade him to a team that is taking on that current contract, taking on that hit, and sending them a pick. Goody, I think he owns Jerry Jones at this point. That might be a little dramatic, but I mean, the fact that, all right, able to get Micah Parsons and such, and now he was like, hey, we'll give you Rashawn Gary if you give us a day 3 pick. Instead of just releasing him, that's a win for Green Bay, and that's a win for Goody. A move that was going to happen. Rashawn Gary was not going to be on this team at that current rate, at that current number. It was just not going to happen. Was not going to happen. And the fact that Goody was able to flip that into a pick and have that team take on that cap. Now, there's probably going to be some contract restructuring and such, and maybe an extent, whatever the case may be. But this is a win for Green Bay. Now, maybe Rashawn Gary goes and has himself a very successful career in Dallas, and good for him, great for him. But right now, based off what we have seen the last couple of years, to be able to get a pick in return, that's a bonus for Green Bay. That's a win for Green Bay. So, Remember, too, Dallas is going to be coming to Green Bay here. So, but, that's the other part, too. Think about this. Rashawn Gary never had a double-digit sack season in Green Bay. Yeah, never a double-digit sack season in Green Bay, even with that contract. And, a lot of times with those contracts, you're paying for what you think the player is going to be and such. I mean, he was close. 2021, where he got that new contract afterwards, 9.5 sacks, but 6, 9, 7.5, 7.5. And the one year he had 6, he only played 9 games. But man, the fact that he was able to get a pick from Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, I think is wow, awesome. Good. And I'm sure there's going to be some Cowboys fans, kind of like after the Micah Parsons trade, saying, oh, well, Dallas really fleeced Green Bay on that one. They'll probably say the same thing about this too. So, but all right, let's add that into the poll question now. We got to throw that one in there, don't we? What do you think of the moves? What do you think the job that Goody has done so far and the Packers have done so far? Adding Zaire Franklin, re-signing Sean Ryan, trading Rashawn Gary for a day 3 pick. You got something in return for Rashawn Gary. What do you think? Maybe could they be doing the same thing with Elton Jenkins? Could they find somebody and you get another pick for Elton Jenkins? You look at that 2027 with what is probably going to be a boatload. Okay, so Ian Rapport just said it's a 4th rounder for Gary. A 4th rounder. I will take that. A 4th rounder? Yes. Even better. Even better. This is where now it's not even based off of his play. Cowboys are just straight up giving him a fourth rounder. I'll take that. Heck yes. The fact that they got a 4th rounder now for this, sign me up. Goody hit it out of the park for this one. The fact that they got a 4th rounder in return for him, come on. Wow. You're looking at that 2027 draft. When we factor in Green Bay's probably going to get a ton of comp picks between 3rd and 4th round. Green Bay is going to be busy day 2, early parts of day 3 in the 2027 draft. They are loading up. When you factor in some of the comp picks that they're going to get from free agent losses like Malik, Romeo, Rasheed Walker, Quay Walker, maybe even Inagbare. That one might be, well, it depends. Man, they got a 4th rounder for him? Come on. Goody. Don't stop picking on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys right now. That's all right. I really like that move. Yeah, as Rob Domofsky, just our good friend Rob said, expect defensive line now to be a major focus for Brady Gutekunst in free agency and or the draft after trading away Rashawn Gary and Colby Wooden in the last couple of days. So, all right, for fans, I guess, who are dreaming of a Dexter Lawrence trade or a Jalen Carter trade, man, maybe there's something there. Maybe they could trade a future pick for, like a future day 2 pick for one of those guys if that's what you're dreaming. Otherwise, you look at some of the other options in free agency when it comes to defensive line. I mean, let's kind of take a look at some of these guys. Who are some of the options, like from a defensive line standpoint? And the funny thing is, during the break too, I'd seen some people saying, "Oh, it sounds like Trey Hendrickson's going to the Cowboys, and maybe he still could. He's a free agent." And then they'd pair up Rashawn Gary with Trey Hendrickson. So I guess that's possibly still a thing. But when you look at interior defensive line, like those defensive tackles, right? That's what we want to look at as the defensive tackles. Let me kind of scroll through where. Okay, John Franklin Myers. That's probably going to cost. That's probably the highest paid, or going to be the highest paid guy out there. After that, now I'm not looking at Greg Rosenthal's list. I'm looking at ESPN's top 100 list just to get a little bit of a different perspective on it. There is a little bit of a gap according to their rankings when you look at defensive tackles and such. But man, all right, there really is a huge gap in what they've got on here. Logan Hall, kind of a hybrid. I threw him on my list earlier on last week. He's more of a hybrid type of guy, though. Not really a run stuffing. Man, they're not really, okay. This is where it's interesting to kind of compare the top 100 lists from like ESPN compared to what NFL.com has. Because there's a lot of difference of opinions in this thing. Sheldon Rankins is up there. Allen, Yeah, I think Green Bay is going to go into free agency and get a defensive tackle. I really do. I think they're going to come away with a defensive tackle. Maybe it's Hargrave. He's expected to be released. Obviously has spent some time with Jonathan Gannon. Calais Campbell's still up there too. Hargrave's more of the interior pass rusher type of player. So there's options. There's some veteran options if that's the route Green Bay decides to go. So, all right. I got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to wrap up the third quarter after these few words. When it comes to quality meat, you don't guess. You go right to the experts at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. You're not just buying meat, but you are buying experience. Hand-cut steaks, fresh ground beef, house-made brats and sausages, thick-cut chops, done exactly the way you like them. This is your neighborhood butcher shop where quality comes first and service still matters. Planning a cookout or maybe stocking up for the week, or maybe you're looking for that perfect steak for dinner tonight. Stop on in to Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire and taste the difference that a real butcher makes. Mike's Star Market, fresh, local, and done right. All right, just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour. So, see, this is the madness, March Madness, NFL stuff, free agency, trades going on. It's been a busy, busy, busy morning so far. So, this was Albert Breer. The price tag of a fourth-round pick, even a year off, may seem a little high, given that releasing Gary was discussed, but he's a good player at a premium position and feels a need without Dallas having to bid on him like they would as a free agent. I don't know. I still feel like if Rashawn Gary was a free agent, I think you're probably getting him at a little bit of a cheaper deal. But could be wrong. But, yeah, they're going to – the way Green Bay's stacking up some picks in the third and fourth round for next year, it's going to be fun to watch that draft. So, we'll talk – throw in that Dallas fourth with the 4 comp picks Green Bay is expecting to receive next year, and they can really cook in that 2027 draft, says Aaron Nagler. Yeah, definitely. But we'll talk more about this coming up in the next hour. We've got our local sports roundup with Justice, too, so we'll hit that up and get to that here, too, in what could be a busy final hour. Remember, more stuff's going to come down. A lot of signings are going to be coming up here, reportedly. Legal tampering, reportedly. It's going to be, everything will start at 11, but we may see some deals being announced right away here today. So, but Tom Silverstein reports say the Packers are getting a 2027 fourth-round pick. If that's true, it's setting up an interesting draft for Goody next year. Even though he doesn't have a first, he should have multiple third and fourths with comp picks he will receive. Yeah. For anybody who believes Green Bay stinks at drafting in the first round but is really good at 2 through 4, 2027 draft is going to be right up your alley. I'm raising my hand. It's going to be up my alley. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off in 1 minute, less than a minute. So we'll kick off the next hour. We'll catch up with JC. We've got lots of local sports roundup coming your way. Girls state basketball, boys playoff basketball going on this week. Gymnastics, hockey, all that stuff. We'll hit that up here in just a little bit. So we'll get to all that coming up in the final hour here with JC. Get back to some more hoops chat too. Conference tournaments continuing to roll. We've got Big Ten conference tournament starting this week. Big East. If you're a Marquette fan, hoping that they can win that thing and get a place in the tournaments, you can cheer on that. Hey, they beat UConn, so maybe they can go on a nice little run here too. So we'll hit that up coming up here in just a little bit as well. So keep your texts coming, 715-830-1912. 3 quarters in, 1 more to go, and it might be even more crazier. We got some news updates, and we'll be back to kick off the fourth quarter coming up after these quick words. All right, the final quarter kicking off right now on a crazy legal tampering Monday. I got to turn your mic on first.
Oh, you want to talk to me.
Don't tamper me, man.
I'm
Don't tamper me, bro.
Okay, it's okay. My favorite holiday of the year.
Yeah, right.
Legal tampering
day. Yeah, this is, hey, well, I don't think a lot of us as Packers peeps are used to some of the stuff that's been going on each day so far.
The Jacobs Day.
Yeah.
That was legal tampering day, wasn't it, when they signed Jacobs and Adam Jones, geez.
Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones, thank you. We're doing great. It's weird. I'm thinking of Adam Jones, former Orioles.
Pac-Man. Or Pac-Man.
I'm going more Orioles great, Adam Jones. I got to see play in the minors at the T-Rats. So it's not time to go back to the 90s or the 2000s quite yet in this hour.
But, I mean, again, to recap it, going back to Saturday, they make a trade. Zaire Franklin bringing in a linebacker, trading Colby Wooden. Yesterday, they re-sign Sean Ryan. And then this morning, if you're just joining in, the Packers trading Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th-round pick in the 2027 NFL draft. So, yes, it's not for this draft. It is for next year's draft. But
the biggest part about that is it's the cap relief that brings. So, good work by Goody, especially after Gary put out the
goodbye.
Was hacked. And the tweet ccame out of, and that could have definitely kind of screwed that all up.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that they were still able to get the Cowboys to bite.
For a 4th-rounder, too. I know some people are like, it was a 4th-round pick when you were probably going to be releasing the guy regardless.
Right.
To get something, that's just, wow.
Yeah.
I thought when it first said 2027 pick, I'm like, okay, is it going to be based off how well he plays? And then it's kind of like that. But the fact that they were just able to get that 4th-rounder, I'm blown away, actually.
Yeah, that's good GM in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's good GMing.
Good old-fashioned GMing, man.
That's what you do. Brian Gutekunst, he knows what he's doing. He's GMing there today.
I think, adding that they traded Colby Wooden, now they've traded Rashawn Gary. Anybody who wanted Green Bay to add defensive line help, this just further proves that they're going to do that, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Whether it's a defensive tackle, maybe another end. The fact that they've moved on from these two guys, I think now their hands kind of forced. They have to. So if you wanted that to happen, it's going to happen.
Unless they're just going to take the Georgia defensive line and just kind of keep that train going. But no, this is them showing that they obviously knew what they – and you're going to try to build around Micah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, you don't know when he's going to he sounds like he wants to be back week 1.
Right.
So if that's possible, I mean, this day and age with the medical miracles that have been happening, but still – You're going to design around him, and you're going to build guys in there that can help amplify what he does. So, it'll be interesting to see in this day. I mean, it's crazy already. Like you said, it doesn't really start till 11.
Right.
But, some of those are going to leak out.
Oh, yeah.
The illegal tampering that has been going on.
Magically, this guy's
how do these guys already know that they're going?
He's already going to that team? Man, okay. So, that's must be fast work. And remember, this is what I keep saying. You look at all the insiders, the Schefters, the Ian Rapports, all these tweets in the next few days, what are they going to be ended with? Contract negotiated by so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. So it's all the agents that are leaking this out.
Yeah, and those are the insiders. I mean, that's what their bread and butter is, knowing those agents and getting those little leaks to them. So,
and it's kind of a PR marketing tool for these agents too.
Yep.
Like say, hey, I got that guy that amount of money. So if you're looking for an agent,
trust me, it's all about the money. Them signing those guys and them basically making whatever they can. On the end there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens while we're even here right now. So.
Yep. So. We'll keep you posted if anything does happen in the next 50 minutes or so for Packers-wise. But, I mean, it's been just kind of all across the football world. I mean, the Packers South, the Dolphins are just completely tearing away everything.
Yeah. Was a $99 million cap hit, the record for Tua.
Yep. And then they traded Minkah Fitzpatrick apparently to the Steelers this morning. Or not the Jets this morning. So they were really tearing it down and starting all over.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like the culture there was kind of – it was all over the place. I mean, they kind of got it back together towards the end of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going you've done an organizational rebuild, you might as well just start from the scratch and rebuild it there.
I feel like, if you move on from a quarterback and you're going to take on that amount of dead cap, you might as well just say, all right, we're really going to scratch everything and really start fresh on all this, which I think they have to do at this point. So.
Yeah, and the Dolphins have kind of been a mess, I mean, for the last 30 years.
Right.
They've had their spurts here of looking good, but it's been a tough organization to watch. It really hasn't had much success, honestly, back to the Dan Marino days, to the tail end of those days. It's been kind of a team that's had hits here and there, but really, if you go back looking at it in the last 30 years, they're probably one of those most underachieving franchises in the NFL. So.
Yep. Little hoops talk here. Badger basketball with another huge win.
Yes.
On Saturday. And now the 5 seed in the conference tournament. I can't remember what were their preseason predictions when it came to conference standings.
It's usually not high.
No,
which is the way you kind of like it when you're a Badgers fan, because
they got it done without Nolan Winter in that game. Now, not every game they're going to shoot over 50% from 3. They would like to, since they live by the 3.
Exactly.
But
I was going to say, like, when they don't, they can get ugly and you lose to.
Right.
Remember when we talked about that Oregon game? That's 2 weeks ago. And we're like, that's the one you don't want to lose. And then they win.
Yep.
I woke up in the morning. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Not Oregon. But then they come back and beat the top 25 teams. So.
Yeah, exactly. I would think, I know a lot of the bracketologies out there have them as a 6 seed right now. I would feel like that's the floor at this point, regardless of what happens in the conference tournament. Now, I shouldn't say somehow, because I think they can. They've beaten these teams. Let's say they win the whole tournament. I think they could get as high as maybe as a 4 then, because you would have to. You're not going to move up by either beating, I think it's Washington or USC. But then they'd have to play Illinois. You get through them, then you're playing Michigan. And if you get through Michigan, it might be Michigan State or Nebraska. So, I mean, if you beat those 3 teams, how do you not move up to at least a 4 seed at that point?
Exactly. I think you're right. I think that, like you said, I think 5 is probably where they're firm. 6 at the worst, but I would like to say 5. And then, if they go and win the whole thing. Because, I mean, they always talk that the tournament committee is looking at how these teams are doing going into the tournament.
Yep.
Not what happened 2 months ago.
Yep.
Well, if you look at the Badgers, they've won their last 4 games against ranked opponents. I mean, if that's what you're looking at and that's what the resume says, why wouldn't they be one of the top 16 teams? It's just crazy because they can't even get into the top 25 half the time. More than half the time. Like, they had the blip. Maybe it's better because when they were the top 25, they went and lost to Oregon right away. So, yeah, I think this team right now they're dangerous. They are a very dangerous team. The biggest thing will be come towards the NCAA tournament. Can they go without having a cold game?
Right.
Because that's the big key with them. Those cold games.
Yep, exactly. And that's what it's such a wild card for them.
Yeah.
It's such a wild. I saw one bracketology that I'm like, of course this would be. First round as an 11 seed, they'd be going up against the undefeated Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course. They could win that one, but then would it be surprised if you lose that one? Nope, would not be. So
I think the biggest thing about the development of this team was, I think coming into the year, we thought it was John Blackwell's team. And then with Nick Boyd kind of coming out and really showing what he has to be that 1-2 punch.
Yep.
And obviously you get a guy like Braden Carrington come off the bench to put up 20 points.
Right.
Now the bench wasn't deep in this game against Purdue. I mean, they only went 3 deep off the bench, but when you get 31 points from those 3 guys, 20 from one guy, that's what you want. So I think this is a team that is deeper than they were the last few years. And that, again, having a 1-2 punch definitely helps. Because if Blackwell's had games where he's only scored 8 or 10 points,
Right.
But Boyd's picked it up. So you're not, in trouble if you don't have that one guy. So I think this will be a fun run for the Badgers, but obviously it's all going to depend on that 3-point shooting because that's where it's at for them.
Yep. All right, tell you what, let's take a quick break and kind of regroup. I do want to do some local sports because I know we got girls basketball states, got a few teams in our local area going over to Green Bay. Boys are continuing this week. We'll find out this weekend who's going to be going down to Madison for the boys state basketball tournament. Hockey wrapped up this past weekend too, so we'll do some local sports roundup. Coming up after these quick words. All right, we are going to switch gears here for just a little bit because we are going to do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. And we are starting off with some girls high school basketball because we now know who is going to state later on this week and weekend over at Green Bay. Rice Lake is going to be moving on. They are the 1 seed in Division 2. Division 4, Neillsville, also a 1 seed. And Oliva Strom, Division 5, a 1 seed.
Right.
So the 3 local or immediate teams to our area all coming in with a 1 seed or going into that tournament with a 1 seed. Probably no big surprise for anybody who's watched these teams either.
No, not at all. I mean, I had the pleasure in the last week to watch all 3 of them play some basketball. And, Saturday was a crazy day for me. Started at good season by Independence Gilmanton. They lost to Barneveld, but that was in Mauston. Hopped in my car immediately after that game and then drove off to Stevens Point, Spash, to watch Rice Lake beat Shawano to go to state. Got in my car and ended up hitting the Fall Creek Durand boys basketball game, which Durand Arkansas won in a thriller there to move on to the boys' side. So yeah, it was a lot of miles were logged on Saturday, and it's all worth it because you get to watch these teams make these runs. But start with D2 and Rice Lake. Yeah, I mean that with Shepley is the big name. Schmidt is as big as name as new, and she's going to go play at Green Bay, and get 2 D1 right there, and then the rest. The nice thing watching that team is, if you looked at it at the beginning, you're like, okay, it's kind of a 2-person team, but the rest of those girls have filled in, and that roster has really just grown as a season, and the depth they've had. They had a freshman go off for 18 points against Shawano, which is a really talented team and has a D1 prospect of their own on there. So for them, I think they've earned that number 1 seed again, playing against the big rivers. We've talked about this all the time with Rice Lake. Is as small as they are compared to the other big river schools, that once they get in the playoffs, it helps them so much to be playing against D1 teams the whole time. And then they go in there, and I don't think they feel that pressure that maybe some teams would in these big games. And they showed it. They were so confident in that game against Shawano, and for them to move on for their 2nd straight year to the state tournament. And they're definitely looking to, it was great getting there last year. This year they want to come back with some hardware. And as a number 1 seed, the expectations there for them to do it. So we'll see what they have against Beaver Dam and then, Whitefish Bay and Elkhorn. So that's a tough competition. I was looking at all their records around the same. They've all played good talent. It's we'll just see if Rice Lake, maybe that experience last year helps them a lot.
Right. So so Neillsville will get things started off on Thursday. That's the first one for our local teams. That's going to be Thursday night, it looks like, right? 6:35, and then Oliva Strom right away Friday morning at 9:05, and then Rice Lake 1:35 on Friday.
Yeah, and that Neillsville team, John Geyer has that defense just clamping down, being able to just shut down some very, very, very talented teams here in the last week. And
was it Regis 20-0 run to open up that game?
And I saw them play against each other too at the Cloverville crossover, and Regis is a phenomenally talented team. And Geyer's he's got that defense working so well, and I think it just gives you fits when you're trying to play against it. And if they get a lead, they're going to clamp down more, and then you just got to try to find some way to claw back in. So that team is going to be very tough, and I think it's not it's not going to be the prettiest basketball if you're an offensive fan, but the defense there is going to clamp down, and you're going to have some probably low-scoring games in these state tournament games. But that's the way they want it. So if it's kind of the old Dick Bennett style of we're going to play the toughest defense, and if we win 25-21, that's fine with us, at least as long as we're holding you under us. That's the win. I think somebody said he says offense wins games, but defense wins championships, and they've got a good chance there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then going to D5, I mean, Oliva Strom just continuing in an amazing run now. I believe 29-0, undefeated on the season. Just been playing phenomenal basketball the whole season, big wins the whole way, and now they've got a chance on the biggest stage to continue it. The tough thing is, getting to that stage and playing there. Will there be the nerves or anything like that? I don't know if I'll see that with this team. That is a team that's got a ton of confidence, and I think going to the Resch Center, they're going to go in and obviously earned the 1 seed there. So
Right.
you got Pacelli right there too. So I mean, I would be fun to see. I got to see Barneveld, a team that plays tough defense as well, and against Indy, I mean, it was 38-34. I think was the final score there. So it was a low scoring game. So if that was to be a case, but obviously they got Fall River will give them everything they got, and again.
Mm-hmm.
So and then all those championships would be on Saturday. Yeah, good chance for these girls, and it's been a great girls basketball season so far, and I think this week will cap it off with some fine performances.
Moving into the boys side of things, then we've got there's actually some upsets. It looks like over here too.
There was
a
ton of 1 seeds that went the way.
I know in Division 1, DC Evers fell to Nina, so Nina is a 9 seed moving on. I know Marshfield's probably the closest one for our area. They're a 3 seed moving on, where they'll be taking on Appleton North.
There's only 1 seed left in that side of the section. Both those sections. De Pere was the only number 1 seed to make it so far, and that just that's kind of how it's been throughout. I think it's more on the just how close a lot of these teams are this year. It's you can say, well, how did this team get a 1 seed? They end up losing to a 9. I think it's just that there's a razor thin margin of error between all these teams, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that when you're running these high-tempo offenses, and we see with the Badgers. Badgers would be a perfect example of a team that can beat anybody. Well, when you're running those high-tempo offenses and you're clicking and you're a 1 seed, it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start struggling and that other team's running back, you're giving up those possessions, and that other team starts hitting their baskets, it really opens the door for a lot of these teams to have a chance to pull the upset. And I think that's what we really saw here in the last couple brackets here in the boys tournament.
Well, and then in Division 2, this should be kind of a fun one. Menominee taking on New Richmond.
Right. You got some BRC rivals there. I mean, New Richmond making the run to, beat River Falls, how good that had to feel for them, just that regionally rivalry that they have there too. So now a Menominee team that's been really playing well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, again, you look at it, and Notre Dame's a 1 seed. A couple more 1 seeds on the other side, but on the left side of that bracket, West Salem, the 4 seed, beat Onalaska, the 1 seed. La Crosse Central's the 2 seed. I mean, we are looking at it's just expect the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's what I think is what's going to happen here when you get to this level, especially with all the upsets that have been pulled.
Well, then, speaking of upsets, Division 3, St. Croix Central's a top seed, moves on, but you scroll down to the bottom, Stanley Boyd upsetting Altoona, which was a top seed. So Stanley Boyd moves on to take on GET.
And that Stanley Boyd team has been tested this whole season by playing in the Clover Belt. And, those matchups with the Regis and Fall Creek, those are ones that have sharpened their skills a little bit. And so, and for them to go in and Altoona is another team that's just a talented team, but they ran into a Stanley Boyd team that was playing some great defense and getting the shots when they needed. So yeah, that's what we've seen so far. Mm-hmm. Is that when you play like that, you have a chance to keep moving.
And moving to Division 4, McDonald Catholic still alive.
Right, there's your 4 seed.
Yep. And they take on Clear Lake, right?
Yep, so. Clear Lake, the 2 seed, and then you go down to the bottom, and that was the one that I was at, is Durand, Arkansas. I saw them play against Altoona in the end of the regular season, and that's a deep team. And I think that really showed up against Fall Creek. And what was just, the atmosphere. I walked in there, I was racing back from Stevens Point, and to get, hoping that I could get to the end of that game, and got there with the final 3 or 4 minutes, probably 2.5 minutes. But man, what an atmosphere. I mean, it was as loud as you can imagine. Half of Durand, Arkansas was there, half of the whole stands were filled. So it might have been more than half of the city was there, but man, it was so loud. And for Durand, Arkansas, that's a big win to go into Fall Creek and get that victory. And now they have to do the same thing. Come here to Eau Claire to be at Memorial, but they got to take on Regis, a team that has been, that was put 100 points up. The last 2 games, they scored 99 and 91.
Wow.
So that's an offensive team that's obviously we've seen them all season be able to play some great. The Wristlers in that team there, Cooper, and we've seen them put up big points. But Durand, Arkansas is scrappy, and I think that's not going to be a high-scoring game. I think that's going to be a game that, if you're Durand, Arkansas, you want to keep it kind of like they did over Fall Creek. Keep it in the low 50s, low 40s, and give yourself a chance there.
Right. Then to Division 5, Turtle Lake, top seed still moves on.
Looking to get back to state, and yeah, they've been cruising so far. We'll run into a Drummond team, and I can't really say I know a whole lot about Drummond, but if you look at what they've been doing, 62-20, 64-25, 50-43. So some convincing wins over Bruce and Webster and their La Coudray in their first game. So, yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup. I think Turtle Lake, obviously might have a little more knowledge on them, but I think that'll be a tough one in Spooner.
And then I got to give a little shout out there because this is like Taylor County area, further down, Rib Lake and Prentice. You want to talk about a regional matchup there? Of course, they got to meet in Medford because that's probably the only other gym that's the neutral one over there. But that got to give a shout out to that one too.
Yeah, so, big win for Prentice over Columbus Catholic to get there, and then Owen Withey would pulled off a couple of ups, beat number one Loyal, but then Rib Lake comes and gets a 10-point win. So, yeah, again, what a great time of year. And then you go on the other side, CFC still going.
Yep.
3 seed. They'll take on Assumption. That'll be in BRF, Black River Falls. So, yeah, this is – the upsets aren't done.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of these teams that have been playing great and hitting their stride at the right time, and see what that means here coming towards the sectionals.
I know state hockey just wrapped up this past weekend and such, and I know we didn't really have a whole lot of, local teams there, but, we had in Division 1, Edgewood defeated Stevens Point.
Yeah.
7-4, and then in Division 2, Northland Pines defeated Amory Co-op, and then on the
give credit to Amory. Great season for them. They got back down again, and yeah, that's a team that, you'll see if they, I don't know if they'll get bumped up to D1 or not, but they can stay in D2. That would be big for them.
And then on the girls' side, River Falls Co-op falling in the championship game to De Pere Co-op.
Yeah, and they put up a great fight. That Green Bay United team is stacked, but the Fusion didn't back down and just got edged by that one goal. So great performance by them.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I know we just had gymnastics too, which I know Eau Claire was.
Yep, state gymnastics going on over the weekend. Eau Claire had a great performance. They had good individual performances. Rice Lake there as well. So I think it was GT. There's a lot of great teams there. So
starting to wrap up that winter season.
It doesn't feel like it though. Like it's wrapping up, but there's so much to go. So much meat left on the bone right now with all the basketball. We had state team wrestling.
That's right. Yeah,
over the weekend too. So it was this was that culmination point where everything was kind of going on at once, and now it's basketball the next couple of weeks here. But yeah, a lot of meat left on the bone with the basketball, and we'll see where these local teams do for us.
And then I know Brandon said Friday too, like track and field practice starts this week.
Oh yeah. So. Oh no, don't forget. Yeah, and then you throw in, we have plenty of stout men's hockey getting into the NCAA tournament. They will host.
Yep.
That's huge. River Falls women's hockey beating the Blue Golds, and that River Falls team, that'd be probably another one of those favorite teams going into that women's tournament there. And
I think is there a couple of WIAC teams from the women's basketball that are in the Sweet 16
indeed,
too?
Yeah.
So.
UW lacrosse, both the men's and women's teams making it to the Sweet 16. So, yeah, it's so much going on. And then I don't want to forget. Now, there are people that apparently think we're forgetting about the Blue Gold softball team. We are not forgetting about you, Blue Gold softball. I just want people out there that are like, why haven't you guys been? It's like, you got to understand. There is so much playoff stuff going on right now for us that it's almost, we just have 3 people that are trying to run around. So we're not forgetting about Blue Gold softball. They've had some great performances. I think 2 sweeps coming up this weekend against Augsburg and against St. Norbert. So Leslie Huntington's team off to a great start. Don't worry, folks. We will get there. Definitely, there'll be plenty of coverage there. It's just, right now it's really tough with all the playoff stuff going on. We're trying to run around as much as we can to get all that, and obviously games aren't just here in Eau Claire.
Right.
Like my weekend of, me going to Mauston, Stevens Point, to get these games. So don't worry. We're not forgetting about them by any means.
Exactly. Keep up the good work, man. I got to mention, though, too, Blue Gold, how about shout out to the gymnastics team because they punched their ticket to the NCGA National Championship. First time since 2012-13 season.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's that Blue Gold's performances that they've just had. It's like, again, there's so much great stuff going on right now, and this just tells you why March is really like a paradise for sports.
Yeah, and we got to give a shout out to Izzy from the wrestling team, right? I know Brandon just wrote a piece on him for the Chippewa Herald and such, but wrapping up that wrestling season too. So a lot of good stuff going on.
Yes, indeed.
So good stuff, Justice. That's your local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. We'll take a quick break and be back with plenty more in the final, about 25 minutes when we come back here. So stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Woo! All right. Flying on by already, dude. We only got like 20 minutes left here. So.
Got to make the most of it.
Got to make the most of it, dude. Does anybody care about Bucks right now? It's just kind of on the bottom.
It was fun for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They were making a run. I don't get that team.
I don't either.
Like, how do they get worse when you throw Giannis in there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just, I don't know if they just know the offensive flow when he's in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's still hope.
Right.
But, man, you thought he would come back and like, oh, this could be the spark and this team's going to, because they've been playing really well. I mean, it was like 8-1 or something like some.
Yeah. It was like 8-2, I think, in their last 10. But, yeah. And then down the tank. And now we're like 77% of the way through the season, so time's running out. And you're still 4 games
You got to
back.
make a run and make a true run. And,
yeah. It
hasn't been pretty.
No. But we are getting closer and closer to opening day for the Milwaukee Brewers. Actually, just got some magnet schedules. So if you're going to be
we're going to go through all 162 games here.
Right, yeah, exactly. But if you're going to be at the VFW next Friday for a little hoops skip day, we'll have some magnet schedules for the Brewers on there. So, but obviously, a lot of talk about the pitching. It sounds like Quinn Priester's not going to be available to open up things. But how about this new cat, this Harrison? Another solid outing from him yesterday. 3 innings, 8 Ks again for him.
I mean, they've been, they keep finding these guys. They keep, I mean, I give a lot of credit to that front office. And now, did I see their number 1 ranked
farm system
in the major league? And that is, especially when you're a small market team, that's the stuff you need to hear. Like, you need to know that even if you're not spending the money, you have guys back there that you can bring on up that should be able to make a difference. So, and now, hearing what the deal that Freddie Peralta wants, there was no way the Brewers were ever going to give him that deal. So
right.
And if Jet Williams has had some impressive performances so far. So, I mean.
Bryce Terang's ranking at the World Baseball Classic.
Right.
So,
How about Taron Vavra hitting a home run there for Czechia?
That was, that's awesome. I know he's a free agent, but maybe not a free agent anymore, right?
Right,
so
exactly. That's kind of neat when I saw that pop up there. I was like, I got to get this on. This is really cool. So
Yeah, exactly. So, but
is it, I just kind of going off a little here, is it smart to schedule the World Baseball Classic at this time? Or is it like, I don't know when else you could because it just doesn't work. But man, because you're going to run into like all these conference tournaments now for basketball. But I don't know. I've been throwing it on. It's one of those things like if there's a game on, we'll throw it on in the office and watch no matter who's playing. So it's just kind of it's a tough time, but I think you have no choice. But this is unless you did like a mid-season tournament,
right?
Which is never going to happen because there's no way teams want to. As long as if somebody gets injured before the season, at least Like if you brought these guys out and sent them out to a tournament for a week or two, and then you lost them, and that the baseball season's long enough as it is. There's just no space to be able to do that. So I think it's the best way to do it, but it's just like tough because there's only so many eyes that you can get. When does it? It's because it's got to wrap up probably right around the NCAA tournament start.
For Brewer?
For the World Baseball.
Yeah. Because, opening day is March
26th.
26th. So it's because it's coming in hot. Yeah, let me just bring it up. World Baseball Classic.
See, I got the schedule up here.
Oh, do you have it up? Okay. See, now you get computer.
I'm quick. March. So quarterfinals are March 14th. Then we go to the next week.
So it looks like the 17th.
So they got a week before opening day.
Okay.
So, but it will run into the first rounds of the NCAA tournament. But
no. Yeah, those first rounds.
Yeah.
The play. Yeah.
That's but I guess they did time it pretty well. So there really won't be too much crossover there.
Right. The first Thursday that it avoids that.
Yeah,
so.
and I don't feel like the conference tournaments are quite as huge as they used to be for.
Right.
It's like because it's almost like you were talking. It's like Badgers are kind of stuck in a spot where they can move up maybe one spot, but the field kind of knows unless you get these teams that are making a miracle run, which you honestly don't see many of those come because those conferences are so big now. Like for a team that was out of the tournament to make a run to get into the tournament, you don't see a whole lot of that happening,
right?
As much as you used to back in the day,
right. So, but no, it's one of those. It's so hard sometimes to assess spring training, I think, and that. But when we have like a Harrison who in just a couple outings has looked really good, Jacob Mizorowski who pitched yesterday, I mean, he was 3 innings and 6 Ks and such.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they at least look like they've got a couple of dudes right now who are just, I guess, lighting it up.
Got Jacob DeGrom against Randy Vasquez today coming up there.
Yep.
Now we've got the time change, so now these games are starting
3 o'clock
3
today.
o'clock. I remember that would always be the tricky thing when I would go to the spring training trips, is because it would always happen on the weekend of the time change. So it was like trying to figure out, now you got that extra hour for the game to start there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or I always forget how that all works.
But no, we're getting, the countdown is on, baby. Just hope now everything stays healthy and all that, I know the Quinn Priester one's still out there, but I think they're in a better position right now to absorb some of that.
No, I'm sorry. Why did I say Randy I clicked on the Brewers Gamecast, and it gave me the Rangers, and I am so sorry. I'm like, Randy Vasquez. That doesn't.
I thought you were just excited for Texas.
Yeah,
and,
I swear I clicked on this. I'm like, I don't think he's on the. Like, I was so confused. Like, when did they sign him? Aaron Ashby taking on undecided for the Dodgers.
Yeah, you might as well just throw somebody in there.
Yeah,
for the Dodgers. So,
which always brings back to my favorite memory of 6 years ago being in the dugout when the Dodgers and Brewers played in the final spring training game of 2020. Because then the world closed down the next day.
You've been to spring training since then, right? Or is that?
Yes, I went 2 more times.
Okay,
after
so I was
that.
just gonna say, don't ever go back then if you're the bad luck charm.
No, I was glad I got to go back after that. But that was my final that final, and then like everything. We had to fly out 2 days later. Like they canceled all the spring training games the next day, which they would have anyway because it actually stormed the whole time in Arizona. So yeah, that'll be one of my core memories. Is like being there, and that was they were playing a night game, so they were the last spring training game played, and it was like that was when like Tom Hanks caught COVID, and like that was the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, like I'm sitting in the photographer well down by the dugout, and that's like what everybody was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that someday I'll be telling my kids these stories about all that. And
right.
That was one of the crazier than flying out on an airplane. You're hearing all that. It's like, oh, this sounds like a fun trip back to Wisconsin.
Man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Memories,
6
huh?
years ago. It does not feel like 6 years ago.
Does not.
No, then I'm in my basement for the next. And then there's the next memory after that's the Jordan Love draft pick, where we were all on the live with you, and I was going live, and it was this commercial break before I was supposed to go live in my basement.
Yeah.
And none of us knew anything about Jordan Love. Like you heard of him, but there was no inkling on the radar that this was the guy that they were going to do.
No, I think there was like Daniel Jeremiah had a mock to it, but it was like, it felt different than the Favre one, like Rodgers Favre, because I mean, they were coming off of, really good years with Rodgers
Exactly.
But the one thing I remember about that too, that night was you, Brandon, and I all wore our Ryan Leaf Chargers jerseys for a hot minute. And I might have busted out the Zima because I was a little upset. I
just remember like during the break. So they make the pick, and I am like Googling as much about Jordan Love as I could like just comprehend in a like 2.5 minute. It was just, again, to be in my basement by myself.
Yeah.
If you guys I think you were still on the live stream when
we
I was
were
doing
because we were still watching
me do the live shot in the base. I mean,
because you guys were ahead of me, because I think you were like my stream was a little bit behind, and somebody said raise your hand if you know the pick, and I was the last one who didn't know.
Oh,
because you guys were just like sitting there and not giving me any inclination of what it was.
Yeah.
And then it happened. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things from that 2020 that, in a way, fascinate, just like the fact that I worked in my basement. I mean, there was like 2 years where I probably wasn't even in your studio.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing radio down there the whole time. I had a whole studio set up.
Yep.
Now it's like the last thing I want to do is set up that stuff. Like, if I had to, I would, but it's like I do not want to work from home.
I originally when, we had the basement and I was like, oh, set up a studio. But now I'm like in the mindset, no, I want to get away from, like, I don't want my work at home. You know what I mean?
No,
Like, I just
exactly. That's just that
once in a while is fine, but it's like, that's my sanctuary.
And there are people that love it. Like that's more for them. Like maybe some people like the solid. I enjoy interacting. Like for me, and that was the tough thing is like there was no interaction.
Yep.
I'd be down there. I was working like our website,
right?
So, like, 'cause there was really no sports going on. If
right.
there was, there'd be like, so I'd be like typing up DHS, like summaries of DHS press conferences, and then like if there was a Brewers or the Bucks were playing in the down in Florida or wherever, and
yep.
Yeah, so it was like me doing. Then I would do. So my days ended up being like 12 hours long because I would start in the morning doing all the news stuff, but then if there was any sports stuff, I would have to do that. Then like the Brewers, they all started playing their games with no fans, and just crazy. I hope we never have anything like that happen again, because yeah. And it's just gonna be like fun to like try to explain this to people in 20 years that had no idea what was going on.
Right. All right, we got to take a really quick break here, so we'll do that, and then we'll do some picks here and such to kind of wrap up the program here. So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. All right, we only got a few minutes left until the top of the hour. So should we do some? Do we got any decent? We got some college basketball games going on, but nothing really. Let's. You know what? Let's scrap it. Let's scrap the picks here. So
yeah, it doesn't seem like there's really a whole lot that
not
NBA wise,
really.
Sixers, Cavs.
I'll go Cavs.
All right, Nuggets, Thunder.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll go Thunder.
I'll go Thunder too, and then the rest is
Yeah,
Knicks, Clippers.
Nah. We're
We
good.
just sound like we're
And we are not picking spring training games, so
No.
we're not going to do that one.
no
So.
wild game.
Well, I thought I saw. Oh no, that was the other day.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of one of those. How about the run? Akshay Bhatia making the yesterday
that's true.
at Arnie's tournament, which was
Yep.
I thought was perfect. I've been actually listening to a Arnold Palmer book, one of his biographies, and like one of the big things about Arnie was his charges that he made.
Yep.
And then like for Bhatia to make that charge, I think he was down 5-6 strokes making the turn.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Daniel Berger. That's a guy who's battled a lot of injuries and almost won it wire to wire. But Bhatia with the broomstick, the putter,
Yep.
making all those putts in. I got a text from Chance Dickman. He's like, should we all start using broomstick putters now that Bhatia won? I'm like, the only way I'm going to use a broomstick putter is if I look as good as Adam Scott does using it at the same age that I am, which I would not look that good.
You will appreciate this as you're a Scotty Scheffler fan. So outside of Shields in the mall, there's a big picture of Scotty Scheffler, and my son, it's like, oh, Scotty Scheffler, he's from Happy Gilmore too. That's how he knows him. Is Happy Gilmore too.
World renowned.
So.
The fact that he didn't get an Oscar nomination last year.
Right.
I
thought he was solid in that.
Scotty is he's low key.
Made fun of himself in the movie,
Yep.
which was awesome. So, yeah.
Well, seeing him throw the golf ball on, I think it was that Thursday after his final putt that he missed. He does, like, people are like, oh, he doesn't show any emotion. He shows plenty of emotion out there.
Mm-hmm.
He's not screaming at people. He shows the good kind. Like, the emotion that he's showing is with himself.
Right.
And that's I think, I don't know what people, there really aren't many John McEnroe-like personalities in golf.
Right.
Like, people they have personality, but, like, most of them are pretty just low-key, so.
Really quick, what's wrong with Tyler Reddick? An 8th place finished
No, I know,
this past
geez.
weekend. Come on, dude.
Couldn't win 4. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney getting the win there, number 12 car to break the streak there.
Yeah.
Somebody had to do it, but
Still a top 10. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, that is a start that I remember. Oh God, this is me going back to the 90s when Harry Gant won 3 races in a row. How big that was, but to win 3 races in a row to start the season on really 3 different types of tracks. Now Daytona and Atlanta are similar because they're both super speedways, but for him to win at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas, and then come back with an 8th place finish this week, that is just a start that you'd have to do, especially after all the legal drama that 2311 Racing had with NASCAR. So, yeah, I think, but Blaney, and now they're kind of going back to the more traditional, it's the chase is back, so it's not you win, you're in.
Right.
But Reddick's, I mean, that start to the season puts him in the driver's seat to, he would have to.
Pun intended.
Yeah. He would have to, I think to not make the chase would be really hard.
Right.
He would have to finish last a lot of races at this point.
Exactly. All right, we got less than a minute left here, so I guess just really quick prediction. How many today reported agreements will Green Bay have with a free agent? I'm going to set the line at a half.
At a half? I think they're going over that.
Oh, you think there's going to be 1 today?
My feeling is 3.
Ooh.
Now, will these be like bombshell ones? Probably
not. Yeah.
But
still.
I think there'll be one where we're like, okay. And then the next ones will be kind of shoring up stuff. Now, that being said, it'll probably be the under, and they do nothing, and I just look like a fool. But somebody's got to get at least 1, right?
1. Gotta be 1. Gotta be.
Yeah.
So.
You got to beat the market. So.
Yeah. All right, dude. That went by fast, but
it
thanks,
did.
man.
It was fun.
So have a good rest of your day on this legal tampering day. It all begins in 1 hour.
Go do your legal tampering.
Yes. Have fun. Be safe. Legal tampering. We'll be back at it tomorrow to recap it all. 6 a.m. See you then.